Jim Lee, the president of DC Comics and an artist in his own right, one of the greatest artists of all time by my estimation, made some comments this week that refueled and reinvigorated a very long-standing, very tired conversation about DC or about comics, Western comics, and manga. And it's as good a time as any to resurrect and once again discuss manga versus comics. In addition to that, we are going to be diving into what exactly the Marvel Ultimate Reborn Rebirth
Oh yeah.
Ultimate Impact is and trying to wrap our heads around that nonsense.
Yeah, this is a very Sean week. Jim Lee watch, 5G, ultimate stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is definitely a week for me. And hopefully it's a week for all of you. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic Saturday so far. Smash the like button if you intend to enjoy what we do around these parts. To have the conversation, we have Marco.
Celsius, or like they say in Japanese, seshi.
Mm.
Oh, whoa. You just broke out Japanese on us in the intro.
Yeah, bro. It's time. It's that topic.
Shit. Tyler's here.
What's up, everyone?
Very normal. And I'm Sean. Thank you for being here. Whether you are live with us in the future,
Oh,
it's early, and already we've got Into Gray joining us at the Comics Pals VI Pal tier. Thank you so much for that. And Heroes joining us as a sidekick. So you guys are already kicking us off. Super chats are, of course, open, and we will be playing the GOAT game a little bit later on, as long as you guys get us over the goal hump, which we've never missed. Um, also, it's worth pointing out that today at 2 p.m. is the Royal Rumble. Yes, it starts at 2 p.m., the WWE event, because those fuckers are in Saudi Arabia.
whoa, what?
Yeah.
Got to get that blood money.
So we will be shutting things down to make sure that we can all enjoy the Rumble today.
That's right. 8 hours ahead.
It's crazy. Um Sam says, we asking what Jim Lee is saying, why he's saying it, where he is, but not how he's doing.
Nobody ever asks Jim Lee, how is Jim Lee?
Yeah, around these parts, we only ever say, where is Jim Lee? And, this week, we don't have to ask that question. We don't have to have a proper Jim Lee watch segment because Jim Lee's taking over the main topic.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Jim Lee.
We could ask him how he's doing when he's on the show eventually.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. As of right now, it's all about location, time, and purpose.
When he's on the show, first question is, what took you so long?
to
Just
draw
fly
us
in?
or be on the show.
Let him answer how he feels.
Yeah,
You
your
know?
arm's tired. Fly in.
Yeah, what's going on? What took you so long, brother? Jorge R22 just became a VI pal as well. Thank you on that upgrade. Love to see that.
Ooh.
And that's a smart thing to do because you guys who are on the VI pal tier are getting weekly early access videos. All of our channel members, though, received a drop of Pen Pals, which is an exclusive show that features us answering your questions. So, all right, let's jump into the proceedings, shall we? Jim Lee, who is the president of DC Comics and, of course, an artist whose career has spanned 40 years in comics, recently did an interview with Nikkei X Trend, which is a Japanese
Okay.
publication. And Jim Lee talked about the state of Western comics, the success of manga, and almost was pontificating about the failure of the Western comics industry to have an impact
Hmm.
the likes that the manga industry has had and the reasons for that.
Failures.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what he was talking about. So, of course, it's worth noting that this was a conversation with a Japanese publication, not an American one. So, keep that in your mind. But here's what he said. Here's some of the quotes that have been making the rounds, so to speak, on social media. Quote, the stories told in Japanese manga and anime are incredibly powerful. I often find myself wondering what is missing in Western comics, and why aren't they able to achieve the same flavor? Also, I think manga has an advantage over American comics, which are mostly about superheroes, and that's where the majority of sales and readers are concentrated. In Japan, it's closer to literature, and anyone can read it, and it's not just hero stories.
Since
There's a much wider range of genres, like stories about cooking and soccer. You can draw stories from that. So I'm very happy that manga has been so successful because it gives me a goal to aim for. The manga market is bigger than our industry. So the question becomes, what can we learn from
A goal? Gives me a goal? Jim, where you going? Stay here.
it?
he cannot be mangaka.
Yo,
That book would never come out.
that'd be crazy though. Mangaka Jim Lee?
He ain't built that way. I'm sorry.
Hmm. I hmm.
It's funny. CW Gordon says what I was thinking here. He says rare flavors enters the chat. Like I think he's right, but he's also wrong. Like those comics do exist. You know, comics about food do exist. Rare Flavors was one by Ram V and who was the artist on that?
Oh. I'll pull it up.
Did Layla Starr as well.
Yeah.
But like those comics do exist. They're just not at DC right now.
Felipe Andrade. They do exist, and I think that's what I think that's going to be part of the confusion here, or the way that I think Jim is misrepresenting the Western comic space. Those comics do exist. They are prolific. I mean, they're everywhere. People speak highly of them, but I think the the behaviors of Western comics readers is I'm going to buy my Marvel and my DC. That is the what they've been habituated to do. Because I think historically, that wasn't what was on the docket. On the docket, you had your genre comics and you had your superhero comics, and so here in the states, I don't know that that was necessarily the first thing you go to over a Superman or a Batman or a Spider-Man. And so I think there's like a history there that has been hard to etch away from. But I think indie comics and non superhero comics are making inroads um, to take that over. The indie comic rise of like the '80s, of the image boom, even now. And so I think it's a habit problem more than it is these things don't exist and we need more of it to fill the space of non superheroes.
You know, I've got a lot of thoughts about this. A lot, a lot, a lot. I've been thinking so much about what Jim Lee said here. And it's a soundbite, it's not a
Yeah.
long, very I mean, I'm not saying his thoughts are not well developed, but it's not a long, well developed piece that Jim Lee put together. He was
Yeah.
asked questions and he pontificated, and that's completely fine.
He's not writing a thesis.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, that being said, I have problems with what he said because the first quote, the stories told in Japanese manga and anime are incredibly powerful. Interesting. So you're saying that the stories that we're telling over here are not? And I understand that that's very much like someone goes on social media and says, I love cheese,
Yeah.
and you say, oh, so you hate steak. But this is the DC president talking about a direct competitor with what he makes. So I think it's within bounds to ask that question. Are you saying that these things are not happening in our space? And if you are saying that, then you're wrong.
What did he follow up that sentence with, Sean?
I often
Often.
find myself what's missing in Western comics and why aren't we able to achieve the same flavor?
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that's what he's trying to say there. I think those two are like, I think the context there is needed, because I didn't read that as him saying one is better than the other or one is lacking, like Western comics is lacking what manga has, but I think he's saying Western comics is lacking these particular flavors.
But that's not what he said. The stories told in Japanese manga and anime are incredibly powerful. I often find myself wondering what is missing in Western comics and why aren't they able to achieve that same flavor? He didn't say flavors. He didn't say genres. He said they're powerful. What is missing in Western comics? Why don't we have that flavor?
The flavor of that powerfulness.
Yeah,
That power.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't understand why you would say that right out the gate. And then on top of that, um, Jim Lee, do you read non-Big Two books? Because I'm not going to get on here and say that that the Western comic space doesn't have a genre problem. It does. Yes.
Yep.
No doubt. But Jim Lee is acting as if DC and Marvel are the only publishers that exist. They're not.
They're not. But I think it's also hard to argue how should you view the industry that is made up of 80% superheroes? How should we absorb that into this discussion? Because I think if you're saying 80%, more than the overwhelming majority, are relegated to superhero comics, I would say that that's a problem from a consumption standpoint, not necessarily that those other things don't exist.
Flo Dameron kicking us off here, being the first super chatter of the day with the 4.99. Thank you so much. It would have been hilarious if Jim Lee was like, manga's better than comics because they come out on schedule.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think in a vacuum,
Weekly.
his statement is correct because Hush 2 exists right now. You know what I mean? Like my brother, you're making that Subway sandwich.
Yeah, and that's a part of it too. If you're saying that Western comics are not powerful the way that manga and anime are, well, dude, what is your contribution to the problem?
Yeah.
If you identify it as a problem, what is your contribution to the problem?
And this is kind of nuts to me. Like taking it in it's because I I want to take it in a positive direction. Like I don't think this is him saying that, but I think in the context of him mentioning like the genres later on in the statement, that's how I want to bring up his whole thing. But even that, this is a creator that created Image Comics. This is a guy who created one of the biggest, no, the biggest indie comics publisher out there. Also, now currently the head of Create, right? CCO, Chief Creative Officer.
He
What is
also
his?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also is.
This is on the verge of Vertigo coming out from DC, where those genres and all that stuff that's not big big two superhero stuff is coming out imminently. Nice House returns next week. That's the first one. And like that just seems to be such a limited scope from what his viewpoint of what Western comics are. They're just what he draws. And that feels weird to me.
CW Gordon becoming a channel member at the VI Pal
Hell
tier.
yeah.
Thank you for that. You guys are already
Go.
kicking the show off great. Love that. Yeah, I mean Jim does go on to talk about genre, but again, it's he's glazing an industry that exists without discussing why our industry is different. He doesn't address anything about how we arrived at this position. And it's frustrating because I know Jim Lee is a student of history. He has to be. There's no way that he's an Image founder, one of the most successful comic book creators in the history of comics by anybody's metric, and he doesn't know the history of how we arrived here and his part in that history, by the way.
Could he have just been doing some business glazing?
I said that at the top, Tyler, but we have to have a conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, I think it's a bad look because now this happens, you know. And then you have people fucking comparing Alex Ross art, and I'm like, oh boy.
I think also like there could have been a simple, like we have in Western media or in Western comics, like the to draw the parallel, I think would have been helpful to make it feel like, yes, there's a proliferation of all this other stuff, cooking and otherwise in um, in the manga space, but we also have it here, maybe at a limited capacity. And I think you're agreed that as somebody for Jim who has led the independent space outside of the big two, albeit still within the flavor of superheroes, I think there has to be some sort of acknowledgement that that was the most direct parallel to be independent, and then from there you can have whatever else you want under the independent banner.
Yeah, I think like the market that exists for us exists for a lot of reasons, a ton of different reasons. And I don't know, I don't think it's fair. And I wish Jim Lee would have said a lot more on our part, on the part of Western comics, because it's not fair to compare a completely different country's experience of reading with ours. It's a completely different situation.
The statement is also a complete misunderstanding of what manga is and the culture around manga. You're right, Sean. It's a similar looking medium, but it's a completely different culture.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Same with like Bande Dessinée for Europe or anywhere
The fuck
else.
you call me?
There's a different expectation, I think. And
Yeah. Even the art is made differently, you know?
Yeah, yeah. The pace of storytelling is
Yeah.
differently. We just did the sponsored Vinland Saga book club. Like it is different, and it's palpable on the page. And I wonder if that's how what the expectation of consuming comics is for a Japanese market as opposed to an American market.
Yeah. Maybe there would be a market for the books that he's talking about, those powerful that power that can grab you in American comics if creators could live off of one book.
But even the comicbook.com article that, and many people discuss this. This is just the one that, whatever I pulled. It's the writer of this article, David Harth, who writes a ton for them and seems like a smart enough guy. He says something that's just not true. There's a manga for everything, from the well-known shonen manga to sports, cooking, romance, and so many more. While American comics are some iteration of the superhero concept limiting the market. That's not true. That is just a lie. It is not true that the only kinds of comics you can get in the West are superhero based. That is a lie. And it's frustrating that when we have this conversation, everybody parrots the same thing, but it isn't true. And then on top of that, when you leave the big two space and you go into indie, yes, a lot of those creators are creating based on market realities. That is true. However, a lot of them aren't. And the market realities that we've had for the last 10 years have allowed some indie creators to flourish. And what kinds of stories are they telling? The ones they want to tell. Not all of them are going to be cooking or sports or, whatever, but some of them are. We're just going to deny that exists?
You can't. You can't deny that it exists. But it's also hard to Like as you say that, my first thought is, how do I convince the Wednesday Warrior who is there to pick up Spider-Man and the X-Men because they're really in love with what Marvel's doing right at this moment
They love X-Men
to
right now? Oof.
I, let's just like this is
Yeah.
the extreme of examples.
Yeah.
And uh, how do I convince them to pick up Beneath the Trees? Like I think
Mm.
that's the hardest part. Is it exists? It's there for people who want to read it, but how do I break someone out of the habit to pick that book up? And I think a younger demographic is probably more palatable to that, which is why manga tends to do a better for a younger demographic because I think they're willing to test different things out. And why things like Compact and the Absolute line has been able to find that audience because it's in that same vein, that same flavor.
I don't think the issue is a audience age at all. I think it is conditioning. This is an issue and a matter of conditioning. The culture of manga is completely different than the culture of a comic book reader. The majority of adults over 40 who started reading comics as kids started reading them from magazine racks and newsstands. It's a completely different market reality serving a completely different type of person. And also in Japanese culture, all ages, it's appropriate for all ages to find a manga type that suits them. Whereas here, it's very possible that if you're seen reading a comic in public, someone might think of you weird. We still have a stigma attached that we have to deconstruct before we can even get to the place of saying it's a cultural phenomenon. Comics are not, Western comics, direct market comics are not a cultural phenomenon right now.
And I think the good comparison too would be to compare like why manga is so big in the US, because at least that's the same culture, but it's the medium being popular in American culture. Manga is huge here. And I think that there's a lot to be said with kind of what you're saying, Sean, that where the entry point is for something like that. I look at manga and I see the clear line between like a Scholastic Book Fair picking up Captain Underpants and then finding manga. There's a bridge there. There's a huge river without a bridge to get to Western comics that none of them have really tried to capitalize on
Or figured out how.
until the very, very recent memory.
Well, like figured out how to do effectively because
Yeah.
there have been initiatives, kid stuff.
But that's still within the last like what 6-7 years,
Sure, yeah,
which
yeah.
in the grand scheme of things is nothing.
Common Sense with $4.99. Non-superhero DC comics. Commandi Post Apocalypse, Warlord, Amethyst Fantasy, Gotham Central, Crime, Cinnamon, Kiklo, Neo Western, Black Hawk, Sergeant Rock, War.
You just activated a sleeper agent with that one.
Yo,
Yeah, holy
actually,
shit. Yeah, and we can definitely pluck out examples. And there are big two examples that people do overlook. And I'm not going to sit here and cape for DC or for superhero comics. There is a genre problem within them, but that genre problem is more so like you're probably not going to find a book that's about, you know, uh Janet Van Dyne's cooking recipes. That's you're probably not going to find that ever. But you could find a book about Rogue and Gambit's love affair. But that book is not going to be just romance. That book is going to be a superhero book first and then a romance book.
Yeah.
But there's nothing inherently wrong with that. That's how you serve the market that is in Marvel. I don't think it's Marvel's responsibility necessarily to do romance books if that's not what they're trying to do, because their audience may not want that.
Yeah.
so is there no then opportunity to or desire to expand beyond the audience, knowing that manga and people who would read manga exist?
Okay,
I think you're making a jump there.
I'm so glad you said that, because this is one of my biggest issues with this conversation. It's the potential reader that we've been talking about. Marco and I specifically have been arguing about the potential reader for a decade.
Yeah.
There are over 5 billion, there's probably like 8 billion people in the world. That is not your potential reader base. The amount of people that can read on Earth are not your potential reader base. Your potential reader base are people who are likely to be interested in what it is that you produce. You can't say that every manga reader is a potential comics reader. That's not true.
Yeah.
You could try to bring some people into the fold, but it isn't true that they're all potential readers. So how much money do you throw after chasing a quote unquote potential phantom reader that doesn't necessarily exist for you?
I'm thinking of how to square that with the success of an Absolute Batman, because I don't think that the popularity or sales of that book are just the market of people who are reading comics from 2010, let's say.
Marco, I'm sorry, but I can't wait on this. You cannot sit here and talk about absolute Batman when we're talking about genre diversity in comics. Absolute Batman.
Well, my point being that that was an acquisition. That was an acquisition that happened outside of
No,
just
wasn't
you
an
should
acquisition.
Well, I don't understand what the
You-
word means there.
so I think that Absolute Batman appealed to people that were beyond those who just were Wednesday Warriors or who were already reading American Western comics. I
Sure.
think that there was some capture beyond that.
That doesn't make them manga readers though. That could be people who watched the
doesn't.
movies and never had a chance to read the comics.
But
That
that's
could
not my point. I think that was a way to acquire a new set of readers.
Yeah, but Marco, you're talking about the most established and popular IP on the planet Earth. It's Batman. You can't make that equivalency between that and Mary Jane, What Does She Cook for Spider-Man when he's on his way home book. Those are completely different. Batman is entrenched in the Western market. It will work.
But I'm not saying that we need the cooking equivalency. I'm saying that acquisition of new readership is possible.
But who said no? And you don't know where those new readers came from. I'm talking about what Jim Lee is talking about. I'm talking about diversity within the space. Batman is just another Batman.
And so my point there being right, because there is a potential for acquisition, that means that there is some sort of audience that exists beyond that. And so it is fine tuning the creative, fine tuning the story to be able to appeal to those people.
So you're saying that there's a recipe that Marvel could put together where they could sell successfully a What Does Mary Jane Cook Spider-Man for Dinner book.
Right.
And how do you know that?
I'm saying that there has been acquisition of new readership with a book like Absolute Batman. And so if you continue to tweak that formula,
that's not how American businesses work though.
Yeah, that's not.
They can't even put out a Moon Knight book for longer than, or a Scarlet Witch book, one of the most prominent MCU characters, for more than 5 issues. They're so short-sighted that anything experimental like this will not work.
Like I just don't think you're looking at the reality of what it is.
Like I'm seeing the reality of Absolute Batman, and I hear you that it's Absolute Batman, right? Has brought in a new readership to the big two. I'm willing to say that it had a halo effect to Marvel, let's say. And so because of that, that new level of reader is and can be different enough that they might be open to something different. If that opening happens, then that could open the floodgates to a different type of reader, potentially a manga reader, to
I think with your example of Absolute Batman, though, the thing is, it's not different. The only thing difference is that it's a brand new starting point.
Yeah,
I think that's the most appealing thing.
That's like saying Ultimate Spider-Man. Like the OG Ultimate Spider-Man is the same shit. It's just Spider-Man. This is absolute Batman. There's nothing different. You can't tell me that because Nick Dragotta is on art and Batman kicked babies, that now all of a sudden the floodgates are open to where people who are more likely to read a soccer book are coming over for Batman. Bro, the people coming over for Batman are reading shonen most likely, right? Which is what? The Western or the Eastern equivalent of superhero comics. It's not the cooking mama people that are buying absolute
Cooking
Batman.
Mama
It's the Chainsaw Man people that are buying absolute Batman. If we're gonna have the conversation, let's be honest about it.
Okay, then I'm willing to have the conversation that a percentage of those new readers were manga readers.
But that's not what we're talking about, bro.
Well,
How are you onboarding the diversity of readership that Jim Lee is talking about? Talk about what he's talking about, because that's the conversation we're having. How do you bring those people on with Batman? Because that was your example.
Yep.
How do you do that?
But you also just said those shonen people from manga are potentially coming into the absolute Batman space.
But we're talking. Okay. You're not.
yeah.
You're not. You're not
beyond.
trying to-
But I'm saying beyond the cooking, beyond the soccer stuff, right?
You
Like
know,
I'm saying
you are
they-
right there.
But you can't say beyond that. That's what the conversation is, bro. That's what it is. How can you move beyond that?
Because the cooking manga, the cooking whatever book, I don't think will bring in a new level of readership. What I'm saying is we need to establish that new readers need to come in the first place before something like that could pop off in 20 years.
I think
that isn't a book for now. It's a book for a long-term goal.
Yeah, I think you
if
guys
that.
are looking at this micro versus macro. The macro of it that Sean and I are viewing is that it's a culture difference that Jim Lee is talking about. A culture of these comics that allows for diversity in comic. What you're talking about is a specific comic on the micro that is doing good things and maybe capturing some of that audience. I think that doesn't explain the fact that American comics don't have a similar culture that can expand the viewpoint beyond superhero people to encompass people who want slice of life comics, to encompass people that want a cooking comic, a sports comic, because like sure, they're targeting their niche right now with Absolute Batman. Their niche is superheroes. The section of manga fans who might like action and a little violence and a little cool like aura farming and shit. Sure, they're gonna take those people, but they're not taking the culture. They're not taking an entire shift in what comics are in the West that is similar to the East. We already fucking beat our super chat goal. We're behind on these super chats.
Amazing.
Jeez.
That is amazing.
All right,
Thank you
Manga
guys so
Pals
much.
shifting.
All right, let's hit some of these super chats. Little Lucas, the $4.99. I saw a comment that said Marvel and DC had the casual market with comics like Millie the Model, Westerns, but throw it out by pivoting to superheroes. That is completely true.
Yep.
There was a time when the big two did produce lots of different genre comics, but that time died because of censorship and a buttoning up, a conservatism that hit the Western space. And as the direct market rose and the big two became aware, and by the way, for those of you who don't know your history and are in anybody's comment section just running your mouth about what led to the place that we're at, let me, someone who actually knows what I'm talking about, smarten you up. The direct market and its existence and the big two's ability to completely exactly target their audience led to a lot of what we see today as far as a lack of genre, because it was easier to pinpoint your exact reader so they could give you exactly what they thought you wanted, and more and more and more it was superheroes.
Yeah, and that's what made money, so that's what they made. If you read fucking Assorted Crisis Events number 8, there's a little microcosm up there. The guy wanted to do romance books, but they weren't selling anymore. You know? And it's funny, like, think of if you're familiar with Patsy Walker, Hellcat, right? Patsy Walker was an Archie equivalent back when Marvel was doing genre. It was a romance comic. And because that book wasn't selling anymore, what do? They pivoted to making her a superhero. And then that's what she exists as now.
Stephen Patterson with 4.99. Like you said before, when it came to Bennett's New Avengers era, it felt like they were about something bigger. But I disagree at him taking a shot. Yeah, I think that you can absolutely find like there is no shortage of books that do have something to say within comics. Maybe not as plentiful, maybe not as in your face or on Front Street. I don't read manga, so I can't compare it, but I'm willing to go out on a limb and be corrected if I'm wrong that the amount of books about something between the two, if you're comparing whatever the action equivalent is in manga to superhero books, probably the same. It's probably the same level of this is about something. For what it's worth, when I was reading what other people were thinking about this, the number one comment on on a Reddit thread about this issue has a person saying that the reason why manga is better, why it does better, why it appeals more, is because of the fact that it's a self-contained story, DEI.
Wait,
DEI? Wait, what?
DEI in Japanese manga?
No, DEI in Western.
Oh, it's
Oh.
not DEI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that the
Yikes.
best person to do the job is not the one that is hired traditionally.
What subreddit was this?
Ah, Kotaku in action.
Wait, the what?
No,
The best. What was the last one?
That tracks.
The last point was go back to hiring the best person for the job.
Oh.
Because they know.
These are common beliefs.
Yeah.
It is a common belief that the Western comics market does not succeed because of DEI.
Oh, that's what that third one meant. Pick the
Yes.
right person. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Who was the commenter? Akira Yoshida? What was
Oh, easy.
Imagine. J Sage 4.99. Thank you. As a guy heavily invested in both, it's culture but also adaptations. If everything got a faithful adaptation, we'd see more indie shows, I think.
See, with something like that though, it's popular before it gets the adaptation. Like
Yep.
there's
Yeah.
a fever around it prior. That's just to kind of broaden it to a wider audience that I think agree. There's also a culture there of I watch the anime and I blow through season one. Oh, what am I gonna do? Well, I can subscribe to Shonen Jump. It's different.
Yeah. You cannot make that comparison. Like adaptations definitely are a big rocket boost, 100%, but you don't get an adaptation out of the blue. You get an adaptation for being successful.
Exactly.
And also, like, I want to read the comic for the comic, and not whether or not that has payoff in a different medium.
That's a good point.
Maybe that's another cultural difference, though.
I feel like it's accepted to kind of do both. You want to be able to have the experience of reading it and in manga form, but there's also the if I feel like it's my first intro is the anime. I'm getting a flavor for it, and then I'm if I want to really dedicate myself, then I go into the manga itself. That's like another echelon.
Common Sense with 4.99. DC published 2 horror imprints for 5 years. Pillhouse Comic and DC Horror, PKJ's Last God Fantasy, Gotham Academy. I didn't read it. Non-superhero either. You're totally right. And I'm not gonna go and look at the numbers. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. Why don't we just all put our heads together and think about the sales and success of any of the things that Common Sense put in his super chat?
They, regardless of quality, they're not going to sell like a Batman book. There's a reason why there are 7 Batman adjacent books. If it's American comics, what matters is the sales.
And by the way, what matters all over the world is sales.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're not putting out all those manga just because they want to be good people. There's some kind of weird association between morality and diversity in genre in this case, and that's not the way it works. The big two they're not evil people. They're trying to make money. The Japanese manga market, they're not morally superior. They're trying to make money. It's a cultural difference. They create what will sell. It just so happens that over there, it's a wider variety of what will sell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Sly Blue Demon has been a VI pal for 4 months. Thank you so much. Says manga has anime and it's easier to get into from start to end.
Start to end, just like Marvel's Ultimate Comics, which is by design, right? That was by design.
In 24 issues?
Ooh.
Wow.
Like a real manga, 24 issues.
Common Sense with another $4.99. We have already hit the super chat goal for the GOAT game, and we are not even an hour in. I am loving the energy. Keep it up. There's over 130 with us today so far. Love to see you all. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you love what we do. Go ahead.
Can we put up a poll saying like manga or Western comics? No context to it. Just let people choose. I'm curious to see who's here.
Common Sense with a $4.99. Do you believe Seductions of the Innocent / Comic Code Authority is the reason why most people believe Western comics is an only superhero genre? I don't
No.
believe that. I think that there like anything else, there's not just one factor.
Yeah.
It's definitely a factor, but I also think culture is the biggest factor. Culture built on the back of that, no doubt about it. But we have changed. There was a time where Western comics were much, 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 much more popular than they are today.
And I also think that also led to counterculture, which is actually a huge part of American comics. Like the fact that stuff spun out of that was actively fighting against the comics code. That has influenced the current comics, you know,
Underground.
like
you know,
a
comics with
R.
an X.
Crumb, Fritz the Cat situation, you know,
Yeah.
Atomic Hound with a $9.99. Jim Lee just needs to read a good Batman comic, which is pretty much everyone except Hush 2.
What if Hush 2 finally ends and it's good?
What?
I would gladly eat my word. I would eat crow there.
It's impossible for it to be good because it only has one issue left and it's ass.
What if it's the best issue ever, though?
It wouldn't redeem the rest.
It's too much ass.
Of part 1, right?
Yeah.
No,
yes.
Mark, you can't give them both as an option in the poll.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Common Sense with $4.99. Space Battle, Lunchtime, and Rare Flavors are the only 2 comics I am aware of that involves cooking. Fence from Boom is the only sport Western comic I know. Chew, I think, that doesn't involve cooking.
crime.
It involves
thing.
consumption.
Yeah, it's just a crime.
Starve is a great book about cooking. It's about cooking and reality TV
Oh,
and
yes.
death, because they're like cooking to the death, basically. Very good book.
But they're always hybridized. They're always hybridized genre, though. You know what I mean? Like it's rare to see like a pure genre book in Western because, you know, look at Image. Even Image in the 2010s, everything was a hybrid genre.
And there's a reason for that. Like people act as if things don't happen for reasons. There's a reason why it's always a genre mashup. Because in order to get it to sell to you, the market is not an anonymous group of people. That's all these people that fail at YouTube always talk about the algorithm. Do you want to know who the algorithm is? It's the person who can hear my voice. It's human beings. That's what that means. So if what you put out doesn't connect, it means people didn't want to check it out. Yeah. That's all it means. So in the direct market, if you put out a book like Starve, if it was just a cooking book, no one would have bought it. But if it's a cooking, murder, competition, reality show book, if it's got all that in it, then maybe people will buy it.
You got more touchstones that can appeal to people that can pull them in regardless of the other touchstones of genre.
Mm-hmm.
You're different
in this market.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. If you're doing a sci-fi Western, I might not be into Westerns, but I love sci-fi books. Maybe I'll pick it up.
Ghost Pepper?
Ghost Pepper. There's a little, the cooking is really died down in the comic, but that's more of just a sci-fi comic.
Why is Saga not just a straight up family drama? Why does it have
space? Yeah.
Everybody bitched about the 2010s of Image being sci-fi plus, but why was it sci-fi plus? No one ever wants to answer those questions.
What was selling? So people
Was
Yeah.
that was
it's just
there was
selling.
there a pure sci-fi book during that?
Planetoid.
Invisible Republic?
That was Invisible Republic was um like a it was a political book.
Sci-fi political thriller. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the way shit is.
Little Luke is dropping another $4.99 on us. Toonami and anime help
That's a good point.
popularize manga in the West. Also, outside One Piece and Dragon Ball, manga stories end at some point, most times 2 to 5 years.
Those are fair points. I also counter with Spider-Man and X-Men were around. You know, those cartoons also helped make superhero fans.
That's a great point because those were the ones that I didn't watch. I knew they existed, but I chose the
Chose
Toonami
wrong.
over that.
Oh.
Yeah, I chose what was his name? Tom, the robot.
But that's another funny thing too, is that all these people that love manga act as if they like you only know about it because it's popular.
Yeah, it was in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, most likely you probably encountered it in another medium, like you probably saw an anime, and then you jumped into manga. The same way that I saw Batman and Spider-Man and the X-Men on television, and then over a decade later started reading comics.
And there also is that cultural what's the word I'm looking for? Exchange as well.
Mhm.
Manga has the benefit of a whole separate market that gets it first, knows what the trends are, can hype it up online, and then it comes to the Western, and they'll be like, "Oh, look at this thing." You know, that cultural exchange doesn't really happen in the opposite. You know, I don't know how big Absolute Batman is in Japan.
Well, if it does, it goes into a smaller slice of the pie, right? Like if if it does translate over to the to the Eastern market, to Japan, then let's say it goes into a superhero manga genre that is 5% of the market as opposed to 80%.
Hayden's Hideout with 5 spot. If Jim Lee wants to read a cooking comic, he can read Spider-Man Meals to Astonish #1 on March 11th. Yes, this is a real
Yes.
comic.
Yeah, it's a real one.
Nice.
That's
Hadn't heard of
the
that.
competition, though. So
Common Sense with $4.99. If Marvel's Weird World came out today, they would get isekai fans, but came out 10 years too early. If DC and Marvel want to try a new genre with new characters, no attention.
I mean, I know Common Sense, you're a big Weird World fan. I am too. That book ain't hitting. Like, it's not gonna get Isekai fans because Marvel won't market it.
I mean, you could also make the argument. What is that? Knights, the
Court,
no, the DC book where that Tom Taylor was writing.
Court, or Dark Knights of Steel.
No, yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Dark Knights of Steel. Dark Knights of Steel. That's the isekai. He had the same one where like everything went black, the blackout one.
That was the Marvel one. That was the Marvel Dark Ages.
Yeah.
I just want to point out a really dumb comment. Rob Cruz said, it's obvious Sean isn't interested in seeing a comic book that deals with relationships. The other day when you were reviewing Captain America 6, you trashed the scene between Steve and Sharon. Yes, I did. I didn't enjoy the scene. How can you extrapolate from that I'm not interested in a comic that deals with relationships? When you watch this show, you have to have a brain. I'm sorry. It's a requirement. You can't just make dumb assumptions like that. You don't know me. That is a silly thing to say about me. Thank you. Prem with the 5 spot said there is a all-color manga called Veil, 125 pages for $15.99. Check it out. That print size, I think, is what they need to aim for in terms of dimensions.
Ooh, it's a good looking book.
Veil.
Yeah.
Damn, 125 for $15.99. That's American prices.
Yeah, I was about to say that doesn't sound like good math.
It's not a good deal.
I mean, that's because it's in color.
There you go.
True.
Yep.
And that, I mean, you like
it's a huge other issue. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even get around that.
Yeah.
There's this there's a person who makes the rounds on our Discord server every once in a while and has this incessant need to suggest that the only thing that can save Western comics is if everybody starts drawing in a house style, DC Marvel house style, and they start putting out weekly comics, that every book would become weekly and that they would have no color. And if you want to kill American comics, that's a great idea.
Just read manga at that point. Like, you don't need to make it the same thing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They don't have to be identical, guys. They can be two separate things.
Not only do they not have to be, that wouldn't work. It's not even a good thought, because you can't just supplant one idea and drop it wholesale on another without any market reality considerations at all. That's not intelligent.
Marvel and DC used to have a house style. They don't anymore because the readers want something different.
Yep. Preferred not to.
Yeah, they're not the same markets.
It's crazy.
That veil looks really good, though.
I don't get why people don't understand that. Steve Canaris with 5-spot. Creator ownership is the biggest driver, in my opinion. Image almost broke the model, then did superheroes. Biggest wasted opportunity in comics history. But see, that's not really fair. I don't think that's a fair statement. They did what they wanted to do, and they did what was successful. Those men were not trying to change the industry from a genre perspective. They were just trying to make the comics they wanted to make and get paid. They were capitalists. The image revolution wasn't about creativity, it was about capitalism. Let's be honest. They wanted to get their fair share.
I think that maybe that's what he's saying, though. The fact that if they had used the Image Comics time to
I know what he's saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying they did what they wanted to do.
Sure.
It's not their problem that what Steve Canaris is saying.
I do think there is a world, though, where if American comic book creators can be paid a living wage to do what they want to do, that we would have more genre, because it would allow more wiggle room for that.
How could you pay them what they need to be paid if people aren't buying the books?
No, I agree. It's a big if, but at least the culture in Japan allows for people to make those genre books and still live off. I mean, live is a quote unquote word because it's mangaka creators and they write till they die sometimes.
Yeah, on the board.
So again, there's other issues with it, but they're at least able to focus on one thing and put their whole ass into that, for better or for worse.
Southside Ronin with $5. Thanks, dude. It's a cultural issue. Everyone is encouraged to read manga no matter the age or profession. Comic books are looked at as kid, man-child, niche. Love Chicago. You're exactly right.
Man-child, the famous Spider-Man villain.
You're exactly right. It's a cultural issue.
It's interesting because I feel like I've felt that, and maybe this is just for me, but I've felt that dwindle, that sort of comics are lesser literature. I think it's still prevalent, but it feels like less pressure. There's, be it on the train or be it talking about it, because I think more people are I come into contact, let's say like in the office, right? I come to contact with more manga readers than comics readers, but there's an equivalency in that there would have been shame to read it that feels less now.
I think it's probably less, but you're still dealing with its existence.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas you're talking about a complete openness on the other end.
I wanted to call this one out from Zenith Flare. Manga also tends a tendency to tell more authentic stories at time. The story you're reading is generally the story that artists want to tell and is often coming straight from the heart. I disagree with that. There's so many comics, there's so many examples, be it in the big two or otherwise, where they're wearing their heart on their sleeve. You can feel it. You can see the fun that they're having. You can see what the message is. Assorted Crisis Events is one of those books. But even something like, honestly, Absolute Batman.
Wow, this is a hot topic. So many comments today. I think the comments we have so far or about half as what we would get in a normal episode. You guys are really activated
Seriously.
on this subject. I can't even. I literally cannot even keep up with the non-super chats.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
Marco saying, "Oh, I want to shout out this comment. I can't find it." Are we almost up to date on super chat so I can at least get to the live?
I think
comments?
there's still 2.
J Sage 499. Demon Slayer wasn't that popular when it got an adaptation. In fact, sales weren't impacted till season 1, episode 19. Now it's a global phenom. Probably why comics own movies.
I don't understand
yeah,
the last sentence there.
but that's a fair point. It helps with visibility, but I think it is more often than not already has a run that warrants the manga. If the sales are middling, or weak, I don't know that it warrants it necessarily. It has to be viable to some degree.
I also think, I always feel that plucking out one, and I'm not arguing with Jay, but plucking out one example to the contrary does not a point make.
Yeah.
You can argue with him. Isn't he one of your ops?
Yeah. I just don't feel like getting into it.
Yo, Mothman says Detective Conan, 30 years plus, going strong. That shit's awesome.
What's Detective Conan?
It's a detective who, through, if I remember correctly, a magic talisman, gets converted into a child, but as a child has to still solve murders.
Oh, gotta love the manga with adults and children's bodies. Jeez.
That's the shit that I grew up on.
Just Unseen with the 499. Thank you so much, dude. I think people forget there's a lot more manga produced than the Western market sees. The manga we see is
Sure.
essentially absolute level over there.
It's a great point.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
We're comparing another country's form of entertainment to ours. Like I don't know much about what's going on over there, and I don't even feel like I need to, because it's a completely different country with different things going on.
Yeah.
And I think that there are a lot of Americans who for some reason think they have that shit all figured out, and it's like, no, you don't live there. You live here. You know what's going on here. Everything you know about there, you're interpreting through your American ass brain.
We're getting the now greatest hits in the US
Yeah.
in terms of the ones that sell. Is Dogman sell well there?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Rob, you're just barking up the wrong tree, dude. So if I'm wrong, Sean, try using examples to support your position. Why do I have to support my position? This is not a debate. I'm not gonna sit here and debate with you. I don't fucking know you. If you haven't listened to the whole shows to know that obviously I don't have a problem with relationship scenes in comics. I mean, that's nonsense, bro.
We're gonna be talking about the Tom King Batman date issue later on in the show.
Yeah, that's just like, it's hard to address things that don't make any sense, man. You're asking me to defend something that's silly. Think. Let's get those likes up. We could definitely get a lot more likes in here. Uncle Sam with 499. The only problem there is messaging. Manga readers still think American comics is only superheroes or connected universes when it's just not true.
That's fair.
It's not even just manga readers who have that thought process. It's us. It's us. Like the president of DC Comics made a point and discounted everything that doesn't exist, that exists outside superheroes. That's the guy who runs the company, essentially.
He discounted the entire line of non-superhero comics that are coming out starting next week. Which timing, very bad, Jim Lee. Jim Lee does need a watch. Somebody said he should get a watch here.
He should.
Yeah.
He should get a watch.
Jim Lee, if you're listening, I love you. But slow down.
Gavin Guidry's here with us. Gavin says the anime pipeline thing is that the sales are not insane compared to Western comics before they get anime. We have several comics that hit that number, but they're direct adaptations. That's huge. And manga are available all over the place, and just a much more ubiquitous part of the culture through decades of diverging paths compared to Western culture.
There are multiple places I know where to get a one volume of a manga that don't sell comic books, like American comic books.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Even as a kid, like I read American comics, but even as a kid, I could pick up a Naruto easily before I can pick up an X-Men.
More easily.
Yeah, like at a school fair, they had manga there, you know? They had good next to Goosebumps, next to Artemis Fowl, you know, like there was clear ways for me to get into it from an impressionable age.
Comic Chic, how the hell did you do that, bro? How did you read Bleeding Hearts 1 and 2 already? That's amazing. He said he already read those issues, and Dennis Camp continues to kill it. Those are the Vertigo books that Camp is doing with Stipe and Morian. How did you read them early? It's incredible. Before we do we have memberships to give away? Let's see.
Oh, no,
No,
we're still in
we did that.
January.
We did that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Very good. Oh, look, Cardiac Soulless with the 10 spot. Bit chicken and egg, but I grew up physically seeing manga around in stores and in friends' hands.
Yep.
I would never physically see a Western comic till I got into it and went out of my way to order one. That depends on how old you are. Because I'm 35 and I 100% saw Western comics around me. Like 100%. Like when I went to, for example, the candy store, right downstairs from where I live, they used to sell comics.
You had a candy
I had
store?
yeah,
Lucky.
I had a comic book shop down the block from me. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm close to your age, Sean, and I'm kind of with Cardiac Solace. I never really saw them outside of like my dad's collection.
You never went into a grocery store or a toy store or anything like that and saw comics?
No.
Mm-mm.
No. It could also be that I didn't know what I was looking for,
Yeah.
so I can't see what I don't know. But no, it wasn't until like a Barnes and Noble that I started seeing them.
Ivy Moon with a 4.99. Big downside to manga is the work ethic. Writers get to burn out and rush manga endings, affecting stories. A lot of great manga end poorly.
That's a great point. Yeah. It's what leads to a lot of that initial success, a lot of that initial like hype. But it affects the livelihood.
And then in Western comics, they just don't end. You just switch creative teams.
Oh, sorry, you guys got expensive.
Can't have a bad ending if there is no ending.
Yeah, heroes, I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that it's a problem. It is a problem. I was just saying that I have seen physical comics in the wild, but it was when I was young. It was when I was a kid.
And Sean Comic Chic was able to get those because he works at a LCS, and they were given advance copies of a couple of Vertigo books.
Oh
Lucky
shit!
you.
That's smart
awesome.
though. I like that idea. Just so the store gets to know how to sell a book.
Mm.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good idea.
Oh, Super Chop says manga are now translated into Dutch and sold in the grocery store here in the Netherlands. Spider-Man hasn't been in there since the 90s. And I wonder what the translation looks like as well. That accessibility.
Man, they got the manga right next to the Dutch chocolates on the cash wrap. Jeez.
We've got other elements of this conversation to turn and twist and discuss. Before we get to that, and also for those of you who are going to be watching the Royal Rumble tonight, I want to hear your predictions on that. We're going to talk about that a
I don't
little
have
bit
one.
later on. What happened?
I don't know if I have one.
You don't have a prediction?
I haven't thought about it this year really.
Oh.
The Saudi Arabia of it all has kind of been.
Oh, all right. Well, I do want to take a moment to shout out the people who make this show possible, our patrons. And I want to kick that off with a special shout out to our Pals vs. Legends, the Hound of Justice, Atomic Hound, Starcross, Catherine Stars, the Spirit of Judgment, Jay's Jumble, Jalen Jackson, the Sanguine Sorcerer, Safe Haven, Hayden's Hideout, Jesse and the Juggernaut, Kyle, the Zenith Flare, Panda v Panda, Ted Wong, Adams, Solus Smith, Sam, the Last Young Renegade, Blur, Jekyll, Jose, Entertain, Me, Peter, the Living Lightning, Electrics, Shalom, Paladin, Warburg. And special thank you to our Palsverse members, the Night Stalker, Harris Nijinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Marley Manastorm, Slow Flow Dammer, and Christian the Uncaged, The Spear of Justice, Izzy's Issues, Robert Runback Cashback, Pete the Dreamweaver Collins, James Just Jamming Jones, Paul Powerhouse Smith, Neon Knight the Cosmic Avenger, BJ Kicks of Comics Are Dope, The Grand Alchemist, Chop Art Alchemist, and John Barrier B. If you didn't hear your name, and you're supposed to, you will a little bit later on. Stick around. Thank you all so much. Now, a lot of people, when they bring up manga versus comics, they talk about the production of comics. They talk about how you can get so much quicker in the manga space, how you can just devour chapters week over week, and how relative to that, our industry is slower and more laborious. And even outside of the big two, I would say it's probably more likely than less that what you're reading will take a while to come out. It may have a beginning and a middle and an end, but it's probably not going to be released over a quick span of time. You've got your Sagas of the world, you've got your Monstresses of the world. A lot of those kinds of books do take a while to publish. And so people will say things like, oh, we'll just remove the color from them. That will speed things up. Do you guys think that the Western comics industry could sustain leaving color behind?
No.
No.
People are they're so used to it. You'd be spitting in the face of a comic reader.
It's not only that they're used to it, it's ingrained in what the stories are. Like superhero comics require color because that's part of the story, the visual storytelling. Superman exists with primary colors and his antagonist exists with secondary colors. Like it is part of the unspoken storytelling of it all. Whether you realize it or not, it just would not work as well.
Using Assorted Crisis Events number 8 as a good point, one of the advantages of having color there is that you don't have to have a border to be able to more clearly define the actual lack of border and where and when things spill into the gutter.
It adds to the negative space. I've not opened this up yet. Oh God, I love newsprint. Make all comics newsprint.
Nah. I like that glossy paper. My shit got to shine a little.
Ew, that sounded sexual.
Chad is going off on the concept of colorless comics.
Seriously, it looks like my speed dating results.
Oh shit. There was a question about why The Walking Dead was so successful. As I said earlier, examples don't disprove a rule.
Yep.
Walking Dead is a massive success. Name me 5 comics in the modern era that are massive successes that didn't have color. Just do it, brother.
I don't even think you
5.
could name 2.
I don't think so either.
Bone.
Bone had
wait,
color.
In the modern era?
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's collected, Bone has color, doesn't it?
When it's collected, yeah, but not initially.
That's how kids are reading it.
Fuck.
And I think that's a huge problem that you can't overcome. Western comics and color go hand in hand. Even outside of the Tyler dismantled the argument easily. But I think even when you leave the big two space, where color is, you can't have big two comics without color.
Yeah.
I have to be very careful today. You can have them, but you will lose a lot in the process because those characters were made to have color with them. Outside of that sandbox, when you go outside the big two, you still see the same trends. Western comics creators don't think about comics as being things that do not include color. They inherently think about them with color. And it's not just the creators, it's the audience as well. You would kill the audience by removing the color from the majority of comics.
Yeah. I don't think you can't have not a black and white book on the stands, a Walking Dead, but I don't think people are as primed to look for it.
Yeah, and also when you do have those like black and white gimmick books, it's a gimmick because of the lack of it. It's a creative exercise that's fun to watch, and that's why they're only short stories.
Yeah, exactly. I think if it were something that there was really a hunger for, you would see. I want to say you would see Marvel and DC doing more non-colored books that mattered to them. Like even if it wasn't in continuity, something like I don't know, like a mini a Batman book, a mini series with top creators that simply doesn't have a colorist on it. Do you want to know what I think that would do? I actually think that would cause a revolt on the part of creators.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Jordy Blair.
Matt Wilson.
I honestly believe that colorists are underrated by everybody but other creators, and they would fight hard for that
It also
because
Go
you're
ahead.
killing jobs.
but also like it also like changes some of your favorite creators' art and how it looks.
Yes.
Let's talk
Yep.
about Night Fight number 2. Was it? It was Jason Todd's story. You're a Dan Mora fan, right, Marco? That's
Yeah.
safe to say. But you
Yes,
didn't like
yes.
the Jason Todd story because it was
Yes.
colored differently.
Yep.
Just the coloring itself being tweaked changes the entire art.
Chat's bringing up Mike Spicer. Can you imagine Perkins without Spicer? Like, yeah, for sure, I'd be glazing over the inks and the lines, but
Looks like
there's a depth
tattoos.
there. Yeah, there'd be a depth there that we lose out on.
Izzy's issue says, "How the hell would someone navigate the cosmic chaos of the Green Lantern mythos without color?"
They got to just stick to like it's not just yellow. It's just wood that he's has issues with.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't be able to reference what color the wood is.
Yeah.
Alexander Bruno says mangas where comics were a long time ago, very successful, and business starts demanding sequels and more story. Look at Boruto, the Naruto spin-off novels, etc. Manga's heading to a crossroads. That's an interesting point. I don't really know enough to have thoughts, but that is an interesting point.
Yes. Interesting.
I,
Yeah.
I think that's more of like a value extract. Same with like all the Dragon Ball stuff that's been coming back,
Yeah.
Super and whatnot. Like that is them realizing that we're in a mature enough market that there are people who have a level of nostalgia for it, that they're willing to reintroduce audiences for. Same with Star Wars. Same with what's going on with Harry Potter. One Piece is getting a new anime adaptation that cuts down on some of like the older style of the 90s and early 2000s to make it accessible for a new generation because it's such a successful IP that means that I will now have the generation of before, the generation now, and the generation of the next 12 years.
There does seem to be a shift. I'm just not really in that sphere to really know the intricacies of it. Like I've read Boruto's dad comic manga before, but I've not read Boruto. So
But isn't it, Marco? I feel like what you just said is what Alexander Bruno was talking about. That like you compared those things to the West, and he's saying there is a Western mentality coming into that space where they're trying to do business off of sequels and whatnot.
Yeah. They're extracting the value of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what he means by the crossroads necessarily, but they are following that business practice.
I think he's saying that they're coming to a crossroads where that shift is happening,
Oh, I see.
Exactly.
Okay.
similar
Okay.
to how it's happened in Western comics
Yeah.
decades
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
Which hey, capitalism comes for us all.
It sure does. It sure does. Um,
We're gonna have the is superhero comics better than Mawa discussion in 10 years.
To your point, Sean, on the creators having a reaction, I've never actually thought of that. That's a really good point because so much of what comics is also that partnership and that collaboration. So I wonder, like, if we were to see a full culling of, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but if we saw a full culling of comic colors in comics, you're right. Those people are they're gonna revolt. This has been part of the industry for almost 100 years now.
and I think there are like we have to remember these are humans and there are relationships in play. A lot of these people are friends. They want to work together. How can you say to uh, I don't know, Mike Rob V and Mike Perkins, "Hey, we really want your Swamp Thing, but Mike Spicer can't come to the party."
He's out.
What? You're not gonna pay my man to work on this with us? We're all out of here. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's too ingrained in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, some creators just work in watercolor. Emma Rios. You have Peach Momoko. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Peach is doing now character design for anime. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Atomic Hound dropping 19.99 on us. Nice bomb. Thank you so much, Atomic Hound. 3-year
That's
anniversary
What?
with the pals this weekend. Thanks for this community and all you inclusive of the community members do to enrich the comics experience.
Man, it's nice to hit a 3-year anniversary for once.
That's crazy. That's only 3 years because I feel like it's been longer.
Well, I guess that would technically mean that Tyler's been here for 3 years too, yeah?
I mean, I was sort of in the wings before that.
Sure.
On
But
like the
4
side
years.
shows. Yeah.
yeah, but like as a face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a face, that's for sure.
Well, Tyler had a face. He had a pal's head before he was even a pal.
That's true. Yeah.
I did.
That's right.
We just were like, yeah, let's do one for Tyler too. But yeah, thank you so much, Hound. Owen Harrison says, to be fair, that's business. Is in a normal job, you don't decide who you work with. This isn't a normal job though, dude. I think that we have to remember this is creative stuff, right? And the businesses need the creators. Yeah, you could force them to do the book, but they just won't sign up for it. Like Rom V can do other work.
It seems to be doing other work.
Yeah, Tom King can do other work. You don't tell Tom King, yeah, you don't get to work with Jordy Belair anymore.
No, the CIA will come at you.
Crazy.
That's not gonna happen. And it's like so Owen, my question in response to you is is that the kind of industry that you want? Do you want an industry where creators are forced out? Like I think when we and I'm not saying you're asking for this, but when we ask for this, when we ask for comics to adopt the manga mentality, the manga processes, we're asking for things that are anti-creativity.
Yeah. Atomic Hound has a good point here. He says if DC or Marvel thought black and white would improve their profits, they'd have done it by now. Of course. If they crunch the numbers, 5.5 repeating, of course. If they crunched it and it would show they would make more money, we would have had this already.
Yes, exactly. Like the big two are not anti-money; they're actually extremely pro-money.
Yeah,
and that would be a very easy solve.
Yeah, they make tons of changes to the comics that in the micro that increase their profits that maybe you don't even realize. Like the fact that covers are different paper than when I was picking up comics originally. That's to save money. They make these changes all the time. They would have made a change to make black and white if it would make them money.
Yeah.
They also try things all the time. I don't know the state. I don't know about manga enough to discuss this part, but think about all the small things that we've seen attempted over the years at the big two. Marvel with VR, even them putting the codes in the books.
Oh yeah.
DC's variant initiative where they have cardstock covers as variants. Like even in Absolute Martian Manhunter, this isn't an initiative, but the fact that there are issues where you can draw on them or you can like look at them in the light to see different things. Like there's a lot of experimentation that happens in comics that we never give them credit for, but it does happen.
And I think that makes me think of another huge difference between manga and American comics is that manga are more akin to books. Floppy Western comics are collectibles.
Remind me make magazines more.
Yeah. At their inception, they were meant to be disposable. But like the fact that we have blind bags, the fact that we have variants, all of that makes them collectibles. They don't have that in manga. That would just go on a shelf when you're done. You can't even put a floppy on a shelf, really, unless you frame it. It has no spine. It's not meant for that. Why did you pause me?
No, I said it. Oh. I said it falls.
Oh, okay. I thought you said pause because I said put a floppy. Like they're just different things entirely.
Yeah.
I'll eat my words once manga starts doing blind bag variant covers.
Or floppies.
Which honestly, blind boxes are huge in Japan. If manga recognized that would be successful, they probably would have done it.
Uncle Sam with the $4.99. Manga got into the book market very early. What we need is indie companies to do a big marketing push and say, hey, just start with volume 1. I mean, look, Uncle Sam, I appreciate it, but that's not like that's been done, brother. What was the image revolution of the tens? Why are image volume 1's $9.99? Actually, I think they might have ended that initiative. I don't know, but
I think they still are.
Very
hope so.
selective stuff.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, there's very selective stuff that is not part of that.
They've tried to do that, if millions of dollars were infused into the overall comics community, the industry, and the only thing you could use it for was marketing, I don't think that's what turns the tide in this in this war. That's not like millions of dollars in marketing is not going to create a culture in which Western comics are ingrained in the way that people entertain themselves writ large. That is a core difference.
It's a DNA issue.
Yeah. That's like, I love fried chicken, bro. I was born that way. It's in my DNA. I love that shit. You're not going to extract that out of me. You can't make me not like it. I love it. I love it more than anything. Come on.
I love fried chicken.
I'm too. I think you're baiting, Sean.
What do you mean?
I'm not falling for it. I love rice and beans.
Hey, let's go.
A side of potatoes.
I wonder why.
Platinos.
That was the most pregnant pause I've seen on the show. I was like, oh boy, chat, I'm getting the band ready. Hold on.
Problem with the 20 spot. There is a lot of variant covers for manga in Japan. Some series like Witch Hat Atelier have a variant for every volume, but it's rarely done in the US. Usually these variants are special editions and come with some extra items. Oh, that's very cool. I never heard of that before.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Well, makes sense. We don't get it here. So
well no, we do. There are direct market and retailer versions of like omnibuses and some hardcovers and stuff because they can just swap out those jackets easier.
I think most omnibuy there's like a direct market version and then
especially Marvel.
So
Marvel is
a mass market.
Big into the omnibuy stuff.
Yeah, I mean more so for the manga. I didn't know that was done because I don't see that here.
Yeah, me neither. Which he's even saying it's not even really done in the US.
Yeah.
See, look at all these people. You guys love fried chicken. You understand it's in our DNA, isn't it? We all know.
I mean, Izzy says he wants a bratwurst and a beer.
Hey, let's go.
That actually does sound good. That's not my people stuff. A bratwurst is it's a German glizzy.
Brother, and you started the show how again? Goblin what?
Yo, I ate that quick too. I was a 3-biter. I was a 3-biter. I did it off camera because I know I'm not getting clipped. You guys might have seen it because you get the little extra on the Zoom that you can see.
Clocked it, dude.
Hero says most people got into comics because of the animated shows. Are those not a form of marketing? I think they're marketing in a byproduct kind of way. That's not the express purpose of what the produced item is. The goal of the animated series of the 90s wasn't to get people to read comics, because why would Fox Kids have given a fuck if you spent money on reading WB or on reading Warner Brothers / DC Comics Batman comics? They didn't care about that. They cared about ratings for the show that they had.
And I also think they care about like the IP of the characters that could then like Spider-Man and his friends right now, whatever that one with Spinneret and what they call Miles in that show.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what his name is on there.
Yeah, he's got a different name than Spider-Man. But like that's so kids can like Spider-Man. That's not to get kids to read comics. That's to get kids to want to watch Spider-Man movies, to want to buy Spider-Man merch. Like that's what that's for.
to stay in that ecosystem, the visual ecosystem.
Yeah, I didn't read X-Men comics for forever, but I had X-Men bed sheets. I had X-Men action figures when I was watching the animated series. You know.
And I think that's a problem too, is that like those characters have many masters and agendas, and they're used for things way beyond just comics.
Yep.
Spider-Man has many purposes, you know.
He's got many masters too, in terms of where the direction of that stuff goes.
Yeah. So Sly Blue Demon with a 5 spot. It's interesting that manga is going the omni direction by offering deluxe oversized editions of manga now that have 1,000 plus pages. Interesting.
How do you read that?
I don't want to read that. That's crazy.
I do like reading omnibuy. Like whenever I read Sandman, I read my leather-bound versions. It feels more immersive to what Sandman is, you know?
Yeah, because you're reading like
having
an
to
actual
open a tome. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta put that shit like on a like a lectern or
Yeah,
something.
you
to be
can't.
able to read.
That's not going to go in your bag, so you can read it on the subway. You know,
Right. Exactly.
Which I would also argue there's probably a benefit to manga being in Japan because their public transit's much better.
That's why it's that size.
Yeah, and I think you could. There's more opportunity to read it. We're in a car economy in the U.S. You can't read and drive at the same time.
Well, if you read it, you're traveling 2 hours as opposed to here you're doing maybe a 30-minute trip. So
Sure, yeah. The culture is just different. It always goes back to the trains. Yeah.
Izzy's issue says, I have a Bible stand. I used to read Omnibuy.
I
Hell
don't
yeah.
doubt that at all. Do you have do you have a lectern too? Do you have a lectern to read your Omnibuy? Because that'd be great.
Dan Trudeau makes an excellent point as usual. Every kid I grew up with watched Super Friends. I was the only one who migrated to comics.
Only one.
That is an answer to why the shows are not. That's not the purpose, point, agenda, goal. That's not what those shows are for, and that's not what they're going to do. Like they created a lot of fans of comics, but they created way more fans of just that character or the overall world. So many more people have seen Spider-Man movies, TV shows, played the games than will ever touch a comic book. Whereas I'd be willing to bet that that's not true for pick your manga. Like it's likely that if you enjoy the anime, you probably checked out the manga in some form or fashion.
At some point, yeah.
You could live and die a Spider-Man fan and never read a comic book.
Well, because there's only 2 ways to be able to consume that piece of thing for like Full Metal Alchemist, let's say, right? It is only the show, either one of the two, or actually that's a bad example because they got movies and shit. But let's say a Peach Girl. You guys don't know what that is. A Peach Girl. There's only 2 ways to be able to consume that. It's either the manga or the show.
I was going to say orally.
Pseudo Panda says, I'm the biggest anime and manga enjoyer, but also find this entire comics versus manga debate on Twitter really stupid.
Sometimes
Agreed.
stupid's fun.
Full Metal Alchemist has live action.
Oh, that's
shit.
right. That's right. I forgot about that.
I might have to check that out. That might be the way that I see that for the first time.
Don't, please don't. Watch Brotherhood.
Don't diagnose me, but I'm a little stuck on this trains thing because I'm wondering like if the fact that I live in New York, you know, and I was like part of my peak of getting into comics was college. I was living in New York City. I was reading comics on the train all the time. I had more time to read comics, and that probably really helped sucker me into it.
We missed a super chat a little earlier. Let me grab that. It was from Southside Ronin. Jewel Osco carried floppies when I was a kid. Mobility of manga's a factor. Who wants to carry single issues on a train? DC Compacts enter stage left.
Hey, I read my floppies on the train. Don't bully me.
I was reading Saga floppies on the train. I was reading.
Yo, same.
Yeah, I was reading. You know, like it feels like I'm shitting like the first page of Saga on the train next to some like old granny with her plaid laundry bag.
Dude, I remember the page with I forget the Spider Girl's name, but like that full page.
Yes,
of her,
I know.
I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
Gasp.
man, I can't be bricked up on the subway again.
Oh.
Damn, yo, people are coming to your rescue, Sean. They're like saying, "Don't watch that live action."
Uncle Sam says the discussion can never be which is better. It will never get anywhere. The discussion has to be how do we get all the readers we can get? I completely agree.
Yeah.
This conversation is worthless if you're coming from it from the perspective of which is better. It's also worthless if you ignore the cultural differences. It's valuable to look at manga, and I guess this is where we can kind of start to close this conversation out. I do think it is valid and relevant to look at manga and say, what could be done differently? I don't think there's anything wrong with Jim Lee taking a look at that industry and saying, how can we apply some of what works over there to what we do over here? What really bothered me is his opening salvo, or at least the opening quote here, is the stories told in Japanese manga and anime are incredibly powerful. I often find myself wondering what is missing in Western comics and why aren't they able to achieve the same flavor? It's such an annihilation and a disregard of history. It doesn't include any cultural relevance whatsoever. It doesn't include what exists outside of superhero comics. Jim Lee is contributing to the problem that the American market has, a messaging problem. The president of DC should know this. He should do a better job of speaking about and being a champion for our industry. When I look at this interview and I see the way that it has spread and is being talked about all over the internet, I look at that as an opportunity for Jim Lee to be our spokesperson. Instead of scratching his head and making us look silly on the world stage. Talk about what we do great.
He could have sold Vertigo at this point.
Sell Vertigo. Sell the things that you don't create. Sell the things that exist outside the big two. And let people know that there are great reasons to read comics today.
Mhm.
Not just 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Right now. More than ever.
Yeah. And he ended it with, "What can we learn from that?" Honestly, what can manga learn from comics right now? It's hot fire.
Ooh.
There's something that's going to be translatable there.
Right now, and your highest selling books. Relaunch them, but have them kick kids and put them in polybags.
That's right. That's
Yep.
right. Hey, you guys heard of these blind bags?
Yeah. Blind bagoos, they can call
I
it.
was just gonna do that. Blind bagaroo.
Oh man, what a quote. Thank you, Jim Lee. That's two segments in one stone today due to Jim Lee. He's helping. Jim Lee's doing everything but drawing Hush 2 to the point where he's helping our show. He's giving us main topics.
Oh.
And where in the world is he?
Apparently Japan. Oh, he was in South Korea last time? He's in Japan. I guess he'll find his way back to the West Coast next. That trajectory is the right way.
Last Young Renegade. Burindo bag.
Cardiac Solace with the 10 spot. Since the pipeline from adaptation back to source is less clear for comics, they should do more to advertise. Superman and Supergirl did that well. MCU's done like 30 movies and never mentioned books.
They've never done it, right? Not once?
I don't know if I'm willing to say not once because I don't remember, but there's no doubt that DC's done it better.
Kevin Feige did draw that one cover.
Hell yeah.
That it got destroyed because the shipment was poorly shipped.
I mean, there's no question. No, I don't think anyone on Earth is questioning that there should be more comics marketing. Of course,
I think
it's just. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think C.W. Gordon found the true answer here. He said Jim trying to kill off Western comics just so he doesn't have to finish Hush 2. Ulterior motive.
Spin the wheel. We owe thankfully because you guys have been
we owe a lot.
so incredibly generous today. We owe 5 wheel spins today. So far, show's not over.
Ooh, a revelation. Who wants to give one? Marco, can you give us a manga or an anime inspired revelation?
Huh.
Ooh, oh, there's steam coming out of his ears. I think the camera.
Yeah, I'm thinking hard, dude.
Damn.
I'm trying to think of one.
He didn't do his firmware update.
They're kind of no, they're kind of like perverse.
That's what people want from a revelation.
No.
Didn't
you can't say that.
What didn't you
Okay,
just?
okay.
You go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, okay. I have a. Actually, you'll probably find this on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel where a YouTube account where I tried to find back in like the early 2010s as many sexy or fan service filled anime that I could possibly find so I can watch them. Because that's what I enjoyed watching in anime, and that led me down a path to manhwa. But staying in the realm of anime, that exists on my account. It's a playlist of just like 18 plus anime to watch. Here's
top 25 anime to goon to.
Yeah, dude. If anyone knows,
no,
Misty,
don't say yeah.
Misty Chronexia. Huge channel I used to watch. Heroes, shout out to High School DxD, Prison School, both the animation and the live action movie was great.
Boku no Pico.
Prison School.
No, chill. Prison,
you
bro,
say Prison School,
brother. Oh my
I've heard
god,
of Prison School.
that's a crazy one, dude. Yeah. There was a recent one that came out. High School of the Dead's a good one. Yeah, of course. The bullet scene is the big one. But
this is how you get into yaoi, Marco.
Oh, bro, there was a. Oh, I'll save that for another revelation. Actually, hold on. Let me write that down before I forget.
Wow.
Should I do another one?
Yeah.
All right.
That was
all right,
good.
Marco. You can reveal what you just didn't.
Oh no.
Get another one.
Okay. So there was this. Do you guys remember Islands from Image? It was like a magazine format kind of anthology series.
Oh.
I forgot who it was curated by, but there's a lot of different non-traditional storytelling being published in that series. And I remember one had this story about a yaoi furry comic.
Oh, talk about genre mashup.
Yeah. And so it was this couple he was introducing his partner into a new friend group, and the friend group turned out to be like poly, and
God, it's Greenpoint.
but there wasn't any like sex. It was just like heavily implied, a lot of like longing and lust
in the gutters.
Exactly. And I remember there being like, oh, you can continue following this series on like this webcomic or something. To which I tried to find, but I don't remember what it was called, and I didn't end up continuing. But it was a good story.
Marco's the type to click on those stepmom hentai ads on the websites,
Hell yeah.
Do I have it here? Hold on.
Yo, if you have that shit right next to you, you're gooned out.
Hold on. I think I have something I can.
You better make sure you can put it on the screen.
Yeah. Wait. I don't think this is appropriate. No, I
No.
can't. I can't.
Well, at least we know Marco keeps it wrapped. That's good.
Might get flagged for this. You know what? If you're on the Patreon pals chat in the Discord, I'll put it there.
I've been feeling weird all week because I've got this shit on my freaking table. This
there you
Blood
go.
Wars.
Put that shit on the fridge.
I saw
promo
it, dude.
cover.
Get some magnets.
I saw it, dude.
Oh man, Uncle Sam with the 2 spot. This started with Jim Lee meeting Akira Yoshida. I want to see that.
Gavin says, "Mark, you got that Lost Girls hardcover or what?" I have it. I know about it. Haven't read it. But speaking of Alan Moore.
Speaking of Alan Moore.
Sure. We apparently are getting him on the show, right?
Yeah, real imminently. In fact, tune in all February for more month where we will be discussing Alan Moore's best comics. And gosh, who knows? He might even make an appearance. The motherfucker is a magician.
Yeah.
It's possible he could apparate right here on this Zoom call. You don't know. You have to tune in all February long for that.
Zoom security standards are poor, so it's very possible.
That's true. A magician who could hack Zoom,
Yeah.
I'd buy it. Yeah, we chose to represent Alan Moore for the month of February because that is what February is all about, putting the spotlight on marginalized creators and people, and
Yeah.
Alan Moore deserves it. We want you guys to nominate your favorite Alan Moore titles. You know, the books that you want us to read. Nominate them for the book club. This coming week, we will let you know the final 4 books. So make sure you get your noms in now. Don't waste time. And then those final 4 will be up to the patrons to determine the winner. Any person on our Patreon page, any tier, can vote. So
Yep.
make sure you get out there and rock the vote when that time comes. For now, nominate a great Alan Moore title, except Saga of the Swamp Thing Volume 1.
Yeah. I just think it's really nice that in February we get to focus on POC, people of comics. And what person of comics is there than Alan Moore?
Of course.
I agree.
Love it.
Small indie creator Alan
Yeah.
Moore, gotta support. Thank you, Sam.
No
You gotta
February
show up.
exclusives here.
You got to show up.
I wonder what Alan Moore's perspective is on comics versus manga.
They
Like,
all suck.
They're all
Yeah,
part of
probably.
corporate greed.
And by the way, thank you. Huge shout out. A special Pals vs. Legends shout out to none other than our boy Jamzilla, who has joined us on the Patreon at the Pals vs. Legend tier. That is a huge level of support, bro. Thank you so much. That's $20 comics bucks a month you're putting our way. That shows that you support what we do. That shows that you have an appreciation for us, and I appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
I put that picture of the cover on the Patreon pals Discord chat. If you guys want
Oh, now you're paywalling
react.
goon material?
to.
Jeez.
Hey, dude, it's for a set audience. I have a story about that too.
You could have showed that on stream.
You think?
Yeah. Nudity is really where the
Yeah.
line is drawn.
I
Should I
mean,
pull it
I'm
out?
okay with them not.
It's fine that you didn't, but I think you could have. Typical Spider with the $4.99. Hey pals, quick question. When the Absolute books get Absolute editions, will they be called Absolute Martian Manhunter? You know, I really hope so.
I would love to see what Ishigo like deep dive into like his art and the bigger format would look like.
Nah, it's gonna be called Ultimate Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Will it be
what it's
absolutely
gonna be.
absolute? Just adverb the shit up.
Astonishing.
Is there an example of this is what I want. I want an example of a book that is called like a collected edition that's called Absolute Blank that would have an equivalent in the Absolute universe. So like if there were an Absolute edition of a Justice League book, Absolute Justice League, Absolute Justice League, and then the confusion of there already being one that exists. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I see what you mean.
I
Man.
want that.
Who's on first?
Exactly. Absolute Batman, the Absolute Edition. Hell yeah. But while it is more month, we do have one more thing to do a part of January, and that is tell you guys our number 1 comics resolution of 2026.
I'll go. And I gotta talk about the big O here. Organization.
Ah,
I want to reorganize my comics. I have some of them in dividers to separate them and things. That is my goal, to reorganize things, make sure I know where everything is. Bag and board. There's a lot of stuff that as I started picking up copies again, they're not bagged and boarded. I got to fix that. So that's my thing. And an update, I am up to date now. I have now read every single book that comes out weekly, and I'm already up to date for this week. So that feels weird.
nice.
But I already completed one of my resolutions, so Let's go.
Dude, you're ahead of the game. You're doing great.
So I'm in the midst of JMS Spider-Man right now, and I have thoughts.
I hope so.
Yeah, we're doing a fucking podcast about it. I should.
How about you, Marco?
Uh,
Marco's too busy gooning out in the
Yeah,
Patreon
seriously.
chat, by the way.
Duh. I was my number one is to practice cartooning. I've been wanting to learn how to draw, and specifically how to cartoon. That's sort of the style that I really enjoy, and so I've been practicing. I've been trying to find her name, but I misplaced my book. But sh- this artist provides intro to like learning how to sketch, and so it starts out with simple lines. So I've been printing these out and just iterating. I took a picture of it in the aspiring creators chat on the Discord as well. Yeah, I just want to practice doing that and get better at it, because there's ways that I want to think about comics currently, and I want to have a better understanding from like a craft perspective. Like, oh, how does it take to draw this line or this squiggle? What does it mean? And so, I just want to be able to do more of that.
Marco, did you see that on the Discord there's a new group for aspiring creators where we're all working on our comics together?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wasn't able to join the first one, but the next one that happens, I will join. I'm just gonna be sitting there for in the background to kind of listen in, because really I just wanna practice the drawing aspect of it.
It's tomorrow.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah, and
cool.
we're doing script review. I probably won't be able to be there, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
really cool.
at one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Marco said, "I
remember.
just want to watch."
Yeah, I do just want to be able, like, I want to listen in. I want to hear what people like do and talk about. But for me, it's just gonna be, I just want to practice my drawing.
Nice, man. I hope that by the end of the year, and this will be a great bit, by the end of the year, actually, this will be a really good bit. You should draw, you should show us what you can do now. And then
Mm.
on the last episode of the show,
Oh,
show us how you've evolved in your art
yeah,
style.
that'd be cool.
Okay, give us a drawing by next week. See ya.
I have on the Discord right now. That was what? That was the 25th.
Boom.
So I have it there.
Bump that up. I want to where did how did I miss that?
Here,
Where's
let
that at?
me.
Aspiring.
Yeah, aspiring. Here, it's just doodles. It's literally
Oh, okay.
just the doodles.
I see it. Yeah.
Oh, you trying to draw pubes? Practicing your pubic hair? Jeez.
Typical spider with another 4.99. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for the generosity today. It's been incredible. My goal this year is simply to read more books. I just got a global comic sub, and there's a ton of included indies. Like Tin Can Society is all
Oh,
on
wow.
there. Well, you've got your reading now. Read Tin Can Society right away, stat, and let me know what you think about it. Gavin Guidry's new goal for this year is I want the Flash to sell really well.
Let's go.
My prediction is I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fine.
Well, if you want it to sell well, you got to make your way on here to talk about it, brother.
It's true. Get your boy Ryan North to come on too.
Yeah, when's final order cut off? Are you gonna do this or what?
Yeah, I'll make an extra tall frame for him.
Yeah, come on now. Get him on here with us. And you get on here with us. We miss you. Now, we do have a Patreon pal question. For those of you who aren't aware, our highest tier members, which now includes Jamzilla, all of you, if you can hear me, can submit to us a question a month that you want to be answered by us in the body of this show. And Hayden has taken advantage of this more times than anyone. So I would love to see more of you do that. But Hayden said the Pals community was recently discussing how they would bring back Alfred during one of our late night hangouts. And it made me curious on how you would bring back Alfred into the mainline universe if DC tasked you to do so. I personally pitched using the Court of Owls, but how would you go about it? Thanks for taking the time to answer this question.
Ooh.
It's a good question.
Uh, Phantasm comes back unmasked. It's Alfred.
No.
Think of the worst way of doing it.
It was you all along.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually really funny because we're gonna talk about Alfred a little later because of some things that Tom King had to say about his time on Batman. But I've always felt that there is a built-in way to do this, and that's but via Lazarus Pit. I think this suggestion that I have, the time to do it has probably passed.
Yeah.
But what I thought at the time was that a very desperate Damien, who is way more broken than anyone thought he would be by the death of Alfred, makes a bad decision, goes back to his grandfather, begs him to resurrect Alfred with the Lazarus Pit. He does it. Alfred comes back wrong, and it causes problems. If we had done that 5, 6, 7 years ago, we'd have that damn Butler back. How to do it now, I don't know, but that's how I would have done it.
Didn't they? Wasn't that a story though,
I was
where
about
like
to
he
say,
almost did it?
I would have had him do it.
Okay, you would have.
Yeah.
You would have went for it.
I was trying to avoid the Lazarus Pit because I thought
There's a time
that
limit on it. Like there's an in continuity time limit.
Oh, is there?
I'm
I was
pretty
just
sure
thinking
there is.
it's been done in the past, so I figured not. Man, bring him back as erase his memory. Okay,
Ugh.
erase his
Oh,
memory.
God.
It turned out that he was abducted. He survived whatever happened. He was abducted. He was brought to uh, uh, to the League of Assassins, and memory stripped, and he comes back trying to kill Batman,
Okay.
Alfred.
Alfred.
All right. Well, I thought mine was bad. My actual one is one of the Robins starts going a little nuts, digs him up, hoping to bring him back. Like he just really misses him. They look in the casket. That's not a normal human skeleton in it. That skeleton looks a lot like a Martian. New White Martian storyline. Infiltrating everywhere
Whoa.
across the DC universe. Have been for years. Written by Brian Michael Bendis. Art by Lineal Yu.
Broke my
Hell
brain
yeah.
right there.
Yo, I can't even believe this. Cosm just became a Pals vs. Legend.
Damn, you got some work to
Brother,
do.
thank you so much. You guys are I'm overwhelmed today.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed today by all the support. This is ridiculous. And Cosm, you've been a huge addition. I always love listening to you talk. Just because of the reality that you tend to bring to conversations and thinking outside the box. So thank you for that. He said, "What time was about time, was it not?" Hey, I agree, but it ain't my place to say it. I want all of you in the fold. Well, thank you so much for that.
Yep.
What Carter Mitchell says, what if Alfred was just isekai? Okay, but what does that mean? I don't understand. What I don't know what that word means.
He was like
Isekai?
sent into like a different dimension, like, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a genre in manga.
He was turned into a vending machine.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a genre in manga just about where people get sent to different dimensions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's hugely popular.
Yeah.
It's like the time that I
Digimon's an
woke up in
isekai.
Digimon technically is an isekai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but did it was that created pre the genre?
Not necessarily pre the genre, but pre, I guess, the classification that's where it would fall under.
Yeah. You know what my favorite isekai? Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Technically, yeah.
Yo, that's fascinating. So
It's a
Digimon
trope,
has
yeah.
a specific classification, well beyond what I mean, I would have just thought, like it's a fucking I don't even know what I would have called it. An adventure series.
And that's what it was labeled as. It's just an adventure manga.
Like, remember that isekai Captain America story?
Well,
Wait, which one?
oh, Dimension Z.
Dimension
Yeah,
Z. He gets transferred and he comes back and no time has passed. Now he has to deal with the ramifications of like being in a pocket dimension.
Wow.
Wizard of Oz, isekai.
Yeah, Gavin. Yeah, Wizard of Oz. Yeah, technically.
Tilo says the genre is pretty old in manga. Interesting. Wow. See how much there is to learn. I don't have any like I don't hate manga at all. I just don't know it.
Days of Future Past?
I
well,
guess the movie's probably more of an isekai.
but it sounds to me like they have to go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, not like ahead to an alternate, I guess.
I mean, Age of Revelation's kind of an isekai.
But they didn't go anywhere else.
They get their brains transported to another dimension, essentially.
But isn't it like the
Is it just the
past?
future?
I don't think that it needs to be like it's still a completely different reality from where they are.
Hmm.
I don't know. It sounded like you had to go to another dimension. Is that not? I don't know. I would imagine that has a specific meaning.
Does that make that one Beastie Boys song an isekai?
Yo, heroes. Speaking of Sword Art Online, dot hack sign. If anybody saw that, that's the OG SAO isekai story.
Now I'm lost. The sauce is too thick for me.
Dang.
Alice in Wonderland points out Goblin Graphics. That's
Yeah.
a great, like,
Yeah.
you just broke my brain with that one. You're
Remember
so
Alice,
right.
that goth game?
Yes. Tilo says the future does not count.
Jumanji.
Okay, sure.
Wow, I'm learning a lot today. Thank you. See, there doesn't have to be hostility between fans of comics and fans of manga. We can coexist.
No,
All
not
right,
what
fine.
people were saying. Out there's equivalent Alex Ross art in manga.
Wait,
Who
what?
said
Like,
that?
Oh, you didn't see that part of the discussion, Sean?
oh, I missed it.
People were saying like, oh, the reason why comics and manga are different is like you can't have art that looks like this in manga. And they showed Alex Ross's art from like Fantastic Four, whatever. And people were like, yeah, we have art that looks just as good. And they're giving examples that's like, it's not Alex Ross. I think you're comparing apples to oranges here because there's an addition of color, and I think you need to realize that. But there was like people trying to like out Alex Ross.
Oh God.
Hold on, Tyler. Did you just say that manga has an issue of color?
Oh,
Well, I mean, yes, I know who Mr. Popo looks like.
manga has multiple issues with color. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Oh man. Alex, yeah, we agree, brother. You're completely right. It's an unfair discussion. Comics is not only superheroes and manga is not only Dragon Ball.
Yep.
You're totally right.
Mm-hmm.
Totally right. We've got so much more show to do, and the Royal Rumble is happening at 2 p.m., which means that we got to get on the ball because Tyler and I have to watch it.
Places to be.
Unfortunately, though, before we get into what might be some fun news, we do have an unfortunate thing to talk about here, and that is the passing of Sal Buscema. He died at 89 years old. We're talking about a titan of the comic book industry. It was Monday, this past Monday, I think, that Sterling Clark had shared that his friend Sal passed. He heard that from Sal's wife. And the news spread like wildfire and it hit a lot of people. I won't get on here and say that I have a ton of familiarity with Sal's work. I don't. But we're talking about someone who, alongside his brother John, you see that name, Buscema. It's not even about a first name, it's a last name. It's a name that has so much value in this industry. And when you look at the things that this man had a hand in creating, the Defenders, Rom, the Space Knight, did a lot of work on Spider-Man. You're talking about Avengers, you're talking about Captain America. These are works that will exist way after all of our lives. Sal was born in 1936,
Damn.
10 years off of 100. And his work is going to live on for 100, 200 more years. How is that not a legendary career? Every time we do these, I always say, when you've lived long enough to be able to look behind you and see that you created and had a hand in a generation's worth of work, you've left a tremendous legacy behind. And that's exactly what Sal did.
Yeah. I think the legacy, his name obviously precedes him. And so it's always a shame to lose somebody of stature with legacy. Similarly, not as familiar with his art. At least as it relates to like having read the work, I understand
Yeah.
the importance of him as a figure. But
Yeah, you're probably more familiar with John Buscema's, his older brother's art, but Sal has some pretty iconic stuff too.
mm,
The one that always jumps out to me is the one I have on the screen. It's the tarantula fighting Spider-Man.
Uh,
It's that one where he like does the jumping kick. I have that issue somewhere. So there's that, and then like Rom the Space Knight, which is I think safe to say, a blank spot for all of us here.
hell
Uh,
yeah, dude.
but there are some shooters for Rom the Space Knight.
yeah,
Only finally just got a Marvel Legend within the last year or so. Which it's funny comes with a little toy version of that first cover that I think Sal did as well. But yeah, for sure.
I I saw a lot of the people who I respect in our community who have been around for a while, like longer term comics readers who were gutted by this. And so I'm definitely thinking about you guys. I'm thinking about, Sal's family. Sal left a wife behind. Um, it's sad, but again, dying at 89, having created and been a part of so many beautiful works, I can't think of a better way to live life. If I get to live my life and there are people celebrating me when I die at a ripe old age because of the works that I created that will outlive me, I will absolutely feel like I succeeded in life.
Yeah.
And I think Sal succeeded in life.
100%. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Let's get a wheel spinning. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Go a couple more. And I'm thirsty.
Highlight a book.
I have to be completely honest and say that I haven't read anything non-show related in like 2 weeks.
I can give you one. What came out this week that maybe I didn't get to talk about? I read a lot this week, and I'm trying to pick one out of all of them. Sorry. Oh, Strange Tales #4 ended this week. That was a Jeremy Whitley written book, Corolla Borelli and Bailey Underwood on art. It kind of ended with like a cool fantasy story of a wild, collection of Marvel characters, mostly teen characters, turning into D&D characters and fighting Hela, Carnissa, Green Goblin, Nightmare, and someone else. I'm forgetting who. But it was cool. It had Scarlet Witch with armor and a sword fighting Hela, which is rad. So good 4-issue single trade you can probably pick up.
Amazing. You know what? We do have Just Unseen makes a good point. He did share a Pals vs. Legend question for us too. So I wanna knock that out real
Yeah.
quick if we can.
Yeah.
Thank you, Just Unseen. What are each of the Pals' favorite Rick Remender series and why? I love this question.
For me, it's Black Science. Black Science has the theme of Rick Remender's work that I think is present throughout all of his work. But I think Black Science does it the most directly, and that's daddy issues. Black Science, that's Matteo Scalera on art. It's a science multiversal, before like the multiverse was like a thing in comics, spanning story that's a dad, a mom, 2 kids. It's very family oriented, and shit happens that changes the course of multiple universes. It's dark, it's funny, it's gorgeous. Black Science.
I'm enjoying a lot of his books right now. Escape, The Seasons, but the one that always sticks with me is Seven to Eternity. That was one of the few that I read and found, came to by myself. And I was blown away by that. That's a Jerome Pena on art. And yeah, that slapped. It was a pretty concise series. I want to say like 9 issues.
Yeah.
And a really, really fun fantasy. I didn't know where it was going, and I always remember the first scenes of our lead dying, and I guess getting isekai to this fantastical world, and just wild.
Yeah. Marco, check out Rage of Ultron. It's a Marvel graphic novel. That's that team.
Really? Okay. Cool.
Whenever I answer this question, I always say low, and I think that's still true. But
Yeah.
recently, I've been thinking so much about Tokyo Ghost,
Ooh.
and Tokyo Ghost. The last time I read it, it hit me so hard. It's a story about this, not post-apocalyptic, but like technologically apocalyptic in the sense that everybody in this world has succumbed to tech, and they're all tech heads. Everybody's jacked in. Everybody's watching like porn and television and blah 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 on their glasses. Everybody's always connected. And the book is about breaking that connection and finding connections with real people, and how that can be costly and what we lose to our technological reliance. Um, if you know things about me, you can probably see why I love it so much. Um, it's a very powerful book, and I got to read it again, but I think it's my favorite now.
Mm,
We did a whole book club on it, which I linked in the chat.
Yo, I
nice.
forgot we did that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
Kale was with us. Yeah,
That's right.
Man,
that's when I was
now
here.
I
So
want to
that's
rewatch
yeah.
it.
That was real good. And you know what? It's irrelevant right now because I feel like
Because we're all jacked in right now.
well, honestly, like the phones, like the attention span, all that stuff is I find myself reaching, and I hate that I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mom, get off your phone if you're watching. No, just
Uh, let's talk about this is my favorite thing today. This is what I'm looking forward to talking about the most today. And that is Tom King. Now, Tom King has had a lot to say, and to his credit, whenever he does a show, a podcast, he's very good at speaking openly, pretty honest guy. And he's done some podcast appearances that have been making the rounds of late. Tom King's been a hot button topic. We could have done the main topic on this just because of how much people have been talking about his words
Yeah.
Recently.
You made the right choice though.
Thank you. So he, I want to start with Batman. I want to start with Batman and how Tom King's Batman run. Tom King's Batman run is very divisive. There are people who think it's great. I think Tyler is among them.
I generally really liked it. Yeah.
There are people who hate it and think it's abominable. There are people like me who think it has really excellent moments and some really low moments. What if I told you that some of those low moments are a direct result of editorial interference and the plans for 5G that went absolutely nowhere? Consider this an extended edition, a post-inclusion of the 5G files. I wish you still had that bumper, that 5G bumper.
Oh
that you used to
fuck!
play.
I don't even remember what it looked like anymore or sounded
That shit
like.
was funny.
I gotta have to re-edit the compilation.
It was Alex Jones
Oh,
talking about.
okay. Yep.
Loved that. So these are the things that Tom had to say, and he talked to Batman Book Club podcast, and he talked to uh, Uncensored Nerds podcast to say these things. So let's get into what he said about his Batman run. Let's talk first about the Alfred of it all.
Mm.
So he talked about Alfred. He talked about the death of Alfred and how it was initially supposed to be a fake out. It was not supposed to be him really dying. So this is what Tom said. It was entirely supposed to be a fake out. If you look closely at the issue, you can see it was supposed to be scarecrow gas. Damien saw his worst fear, which was Alfred dying. That was it. It was 100% supposed to be a fake out death. And then the issue came out, and people were like, I want to see where this goes. What's going on? And the day it came out, I got a call from Dan Didio, and he's like, okay, Alfred's dead. Like, he went online, saw the comments, and he's like, I want him to be dead. He's dead. And I was like, well, no, because Alfred can't go out like that. That's a stupid way for Alfred to go. If I was going to kill Alfred, I would do a whole big thing. And so my editor, Jamie Rich, and I got on the phone. I took my dog for a walk, and we talked and talked and talked until we could figure out that how his sitting there was a sacrifice. And then so it became how he sort of sacrificed himself to save Batman in that moment. And then once it was a sacrifice, then it could be done. I assumed it would stick for 15 to 20 issues. I thought James Tynion would bring him back. I thought Josh Williamson would bring him back. I thought Chip Zdarsky would, and he didn't. He's still gone, and it amazes me.
That's crazy. And it's interesting that he can say that because that's sort of the flow of comics. That's almost the expectation of comics. But can you, yeah, imagine doing a thing where you're just like, whatever, throw away. It's like, oh, it's lore now. It is canon.
Yeah. So much so that we had a question about it. Like, people are still harping about this.
10 years down the line almost.
Thanks, Didier.
Now, I am on record as feeling like Alfred's death was stupid. I don't co-sign it. I don't think it was additive to Batman and his stories. I think it did more for Damian, a lot more for Damian than it did for Bruce. Hearing that it wasn't the way this was supposed to go, that it was a fake out, makes so much more sense. It doesn't feel, I read every single issue. It doesn't feel like the death of Alfred is being built to. It feels random. It's not right. And it's not the way that you kill that kind of character.
Mm.
Alfred's death is one of the only deaths that I can think of a major, major character that doesn't have any kind of there are no shooters for that moment. That moment is not like, oh my God, I can't believe the way that happened. Like Gwen Stacy's death stands the test of time, for example. Captain America's death was incredibly significant and special. Alfred just kind of bit it. And so the fact that that's not what was supposed to happen, that he wasn't really dead, that makes all the sense in the world. And why? Why would Dan Didio want Alfred to stay dead? Well, I suppose it's probably because he had plans for Batman that would have led to Bruce not being Batman. Thus, there not being a need for an Alfred in the first place. Those of you who know about the 5G files know that the biggest aspect of Dan's plan was to replace Clark Kent, Diana Prince, and Bruce Wayne with John Kent, Yada Flor, and one of the Fox brothers, Lucius Fox's kids.
Oh, okay.
And so because of that, Bruce Wayne was able to be taken off the table by Tom. How? With a wedding and a happily ever after. But the wedding was never supposed to happen in issue 50. That is what was built towards. Issue 50, the big wedding issue, the issue says it right there on the top. DC's marketing team went crazy. They had saved the dates that they put in the books, all this shit that they did. According to Tom King, they were never supposed to end up married in issue 50. Quote, this is what he said in 2019. Or hold on. This is not what he said in 2019. This is what he said now. I was not in charge of the marketing. The marketing people came to me and said, we're going to market this wedding. At that point, I should have been like, it's not a wedding. It's a will they, won't they? Because I knew she was going to leave him at the altar. And then the plan was, leaves him at the altar at 50, gets married at 100. That was always the plan. And I regret not changing the marketing on that.
Huh. Interesting.
In 2019, he talked about how he had wanted to do something so big and so massive that he had to get approval from Warner Brothers and AT&T about it. That was the wedding. That's what that would have been. It was Bruce and Catwoman being married in a real way.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously didn't occur. He said, I always wanted, sorry. Yeah, they were very much supposed to get married, and that was what was yanked away from me at the last second. I was obviously very mad, and I'm still mad to this day how Batman 50 was marketed. They were never getting married in Batman 50, and the DC marketed it as if they were going to get married, and I didn't object to that because I was 2 years into comics and didn't realize you could object to marketing, and that broke a lot of people's hearts. I brought them together, and my plan was to have this complete, and it was ripped from me and ripped from the fans. It should be, will they or won't they get married? You've seen this 1,000 times. Credit to Scott Snyder, he called me and said, Tom, they're marketing this wrong. You're going to be in trouble. I should have known, but you'll never know. You'll never find a tweet where I'm like, oh, they're going to get married. A lot of people are like, oh, you made us buy a bunch of crossovers. I did not promote those crossovers. They were not my ideas. He had a lot to say about this. He talked about the New York Times spoiler and how they spoiled that the wedding doesn't actually happen. He talked about how he received death threats and had to get a bodyguard into his home.
Damn.
People were pissed. For context, because Marco, you haven't read this, have you?
Mm-mm.
So it's marketed as a wedding, and what happens is that Selena just leaves him at the altar.
No, I'm aware.
Okay.
I haven't read it, but I'm aware. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Then he talked about how he had a conversation with Dan Didio where Didio basically said, look, I have these 5G plans. This is what is going to happen. You can do this my way and get what you want, or not and not get what you want. And this is the quote. Well, I'm going to get it Batman New #1. And Tom says, and I was like, I want to do it with Clayman. I'll do this series, and we'll have the wedding at the end, and you'll launch to 5G. And then I would leave the book. He talked about how he said everything I said about the plans to replace everybody. The original plan was for City of Bane to end at 85 and then just do 15 issues of Batman Catwoman stories leading up to the wedding in 100. He talks about how it would have been Mitch Gerrard's here, Joel Jones there, Finch here, blah, 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 right? And then Dan said to me, he gave me a Sophie's choice. He's like, if you want, I can have you on the title, but the Batman title has to be dedicated to the setup of this new status quo. The book has to be about Lucius Fox and his son taking on the mantle. I was like, well, no, the book's about this leading to the wedding. He's like, how about this? I'll give you a deal. Because again, they had not agreed to the wedding. You can have them get married, but you do a separate book that's the lead up to their marriage, and you have to have the marriage in it. We'll call it Batman Catwoman. We'll do a #1, and then I'll bring in another writer, and we'll do the build up to the 5G in the last 15. Or if they don't get married, you lead up to 5G, and you write those issues like I told you, and I'll give you whatever artist you want to do this. Remember, back in 2019, it was reported that Tom King was removed from the Batman title and was getting the Batcat book as a make good for his removal. All 5G's doing.
And Sean, there are some, I guess, newer people in the chat. Can you contextualize 5G?
Yes. So 5G was Dan Didio's big idea. This was what he was going to hang his legacy on, where he was going to reshuffle the deck, take the big three, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, off the table and replace them with younger versions. That is the express reason why Yada Floor was created. That's why it's not why John Kent was aged up, but it's a big part of why he was aged up. These ideas were integrated into Dan Didio's plan. Superman and the Authority was a book that was supposed to directly lead into 5G, a darker version of Superman. I cannot recount every element of 5G, but I can tell you that it was a brave new world that Dan Didio had in mind. And we did a whole series covering all of this on the 5G Files deep dive that I'll link to in just a moment when I stop yapping. If you want more detail than what I just gave you, watch that. But I think what I told you is enough to understand the overall idea. It was in continuity. It was a push forward, not a reboot, but a meaningful moving forward of the story of DC Comics that wouldn't have had a way out. At least not for a few years.
I'm linking it in the chat right now, Sean. I got it.
Yeah. Do we have a supercut of that?
I don't think so. Do we?
I'm pretty sure there's a 5G file.
I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
We'll
one
look.
either.
We'll look. We'll look.
Cardiac Solace says, but that Batcat book is so awkward the way it's set up.
It's not a great
Yes,
book. Yeah.
because it wasn't supposed to be that way. And then on top of that, Tom King talks about how the plans got even further ruined because Clayman had personal issues come up that prevented him from being able to start the book when he was supposed to. So it ultimately ended up coming out a year later. And by that time, 5G wasn't happening. So the reason the book existed didn't exist. So the book didn't feel like it needed to exist. And then the wedding got denied. DC said, no, you can't do it. So the wedding is this out of continuity thing that happens that doesn't matter. And that's a big part of why the Batman Catwoman relationship now, all these years later, feels worthless.
They don't even really talk.
They're not
ever.
even together anymore.
Yeah.
It was pointless. So, if you are ever curious about the ways in which Editorial can annihilate a comic book creative team's plans, look no further than this. I think Tom King did weird shit on his Batman book. It worked for some people, didn't work for other people. But it shouldn't have been the case that his run was ruined by Editorial. Tell him he can do it or he can't.
Yep.
If killing Alfred wasn't the plan, it didn't happen. But the fact that it had to happen, it creates a hatred for Tom King that's not justified.
Do you think outside of the CIA of it all, Tom King's major flack comes from his Batman run?
I think it comes from what he was doing in mainline in general at that time. I don't think that there has ever been a mainline Tom King book other than Vision for DC that people have accepted overall. Because I think that Tom King, his sensibilities don't necessarily play the best to mainline because he actually wants to do relevant shit. And you can't always do that.
Yeah.
Heroes in Crisis and Batman are the reason why he gets the hate.
Oh, I forgot about Heroes in Crisis. Yeah. Even his Wonder Woman people have flack for him for.
Yeah, I don't like it. He's very divisive in mainline.
Yeah, it's also like on his style, his wordies, all that kind of stuff.
He
so
likes really shuffling the deck of cards on and ongoing.
that too.
Into Gray says the aging up of John is so fucked, especially knowing why it happened. Yeah, ruined John Kent.
That's related to 5G too, right?
Yeah, 100%. Look at all the casualties of 5G. Tom King's career. I mean, hold on. Tom King is massively popular.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's just a perceptual issue. So Tom King, right? Yada Floor, John Kent's age, the Batman of New York. Who else? That's it. That's it.
The Batman of New York. That's Jace Fox, right?
Yeah. Jason
A,
Fox.
I had to think about it. B, nowhere to be seen.
Mm-mm.
He's got his Tim's on somewhere.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. Superman and the Authority was supposed to be Superman's dark turn. Go read that book again.
Yeah.
That is a big part of what drove Morrison away in the first place. They're like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing that. I'm not turning Superman any shade darker than the blue he is.
Yeah, Morrison whipped his dick out, put it on the table, said, nah, that doesn't work for me, dog.
And literally didn't do it.
Yeah.
Literally just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Said, yeah, I'll take the job, wrote the books, did something completely different.
Yep. And
But
honestly,
even
good book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which led to PKJ's War World directly.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, which was originally supposed to be the explanation. So Superman was supposed to be losing his powers. If you read Superman and the Authority, he's losing his powers. He has gray in his hair. That was all Dan Didio.
Damn, I'm losing my
And then
powers.
he's supposed to go to War World and be off Earth for a while because bad things are supposed to happen on Earth that he's not available or around for. All of that was sowing seeds for 5G. None of it came to pass. Cardiac Solace says, wait, does that mean I'm not allowed to be mad at Bendis for John? Because he defended that like it was his idea. Again, a lot of these things were like, oh, I want to do this, or I have this thought. And then it's like, oh, that works perfectly for what I'm going to do over here.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like Bendis says, "Oh, I think I want to age up John Kent." Dan Didio goes, "Oh, that's perfect. 5G, John Kent, Superman, get it done." And here we are, 10 years down the road. But yeah, if you want more of that, watch the 5G file supercut that we did. Did you want Bruce and Selena to get married? 75% say yes. 25% say no.
Wow.
I'm with no.
I'm in the no, yeah.
Yeah.
I think love prevails.
You don't need to be married to have love.
True.
And love doesn't prevail, dude. We can't even keep love going in real life. Fucking Catwoman and Batman are going to have happily ever after. There's so many issues to come for that.
How would that have worked? Like anytime you want to bring them back out, then you just tell them like a happy-go-lucky or like a really terrible. Like the only end point of that is, oh, we're gonna separate now because we're so frustrated and like here's how we revert. There's only one way to get out of that.
Or you could just make a deal with the devil. Just
Mm,
make a deal with the devil. You know,
just have it not happen.
one more day style.
Yep.
Hit a couple comments. Steve Canera says, "I don't understand the fascination with superheroes getting married. Sometimes it works, sometimes not, but not everybody has to get married. That's the only way to live a real life, Steve, don't you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Married,
One
kids."
straight line.
And I think people on the show can be proof that not the end.
Where the poly representation go, huh, guys? Where's that?
It's probably in Utah.
I'm married to the show.
He's
I don't know about
married to the
y'all.
game.
Hell yeah. MP says, Didio has a long history of this. Look up his original plans for Nightwing, Infinite Crisis, and
Oh,
1
yeah.
year later. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Which is why I would
100%.
kill that video on the show.
Respond.
Comics Are Dope is with us. Somehow not on the show, but in the comments section. And by the way, happy belated birthday to
Yeah,
the man
dude.
himself.
Hey.
Most people's hang up is that King tends to bend characterization to get to his end result, and that just doesn't work in continuity. I agree with that. Cardiac Solus says, "Why get out of it? Cyclops and Jean are married and they're not even on the same planet. It's not like it needs to affect their stories that much. They're not primary characters, brother. It's a huge difference. I've talked about this a million times. That not only are they not primary characters in the sense that they don't need, like, they weren't created to stand alone. They were created to stand together. This is how it always works. Look at the difference between Reed and Sue and Spider-Man and Mary Jane. The difference between Bruce and Catwoman and Superman and Lois. Think about that. Some of those were created together, some of them were not. The ones that were created together are always together. There's not really a will they, won't they element. Yeah, they have drama, but you always know that's what it is. That's what it will always be.
The will they won't they is with Wolverine.
Right.
Will they be fucking him or will they not be fucking him?
That's right. Will he be the third?
Yes, Izzy, I am married to all of you. I am a polygamist.
Ooh,
Hey, whoa.
very progressive of you.
Brandon Dudley says Marvel still had the best selling book last year. You're right, but what that feels like a non sequitur, brother. Why are we saying that? I don't not that I mean
He might
facts
be
are facts.
delayed on the
Yeah, it
podcast
could be
sometimes.
some other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about manga, maybe.
Very true. Yeah. So that's the Tom King of it all. Now, we have to talk about, and we've got limited time to do this, but we're gonna do it. We have to talk about what the fuck Reborn Ultimate Impact is. Last week, the main topic on this show was what Marvel should do next with their Ultimate Universe, or what they should do next now that the Ultimate Universe was going away. And of course, the curse, the commentator's curse, the podcaster's curse, we do that topic, and this week they have an answer that would make perfect sense to be the main topic, but I'm not going to do that shit 2 weeks in a row. So here we are. What is Reborn Ultimate Impact? Teased this week by Marvel We learned it will release on May 20th. It will be a 5-issue series featuring Chris Condon and Stefano Caselli, two people who, of course, had books in this space, Ultimate Wolverine and Ultimate Black Panther, respectively. Marvel initially teased this with an image that says the end of the Ultimate Universe is here. Its legacy will live on. That's all they said up until we learned about what it would actually be. What it will actually be is not what you think it will actually be. Here's what it's going to be. This is what they say. This is what Marvel says. This May, feel the fallout from the end of the Ultimate Universe and Reborn Ultimate Impact. Impact will reveal the Ultimate Universe's lasting effect on the main Marvel Universe. The 5-issue limited series spins out of last year's hit Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. That was a hit? Okay. Where the Ultimate Universe collided with the 616 and ended with Miles returning home with the mysterious origin boxes. Special devices used to create the heroes of the Ultimate Universe. Originally weaponized by the maker to rob characters of their heroic destinies, each origin box holds all that's needed to grant specific power sets to whoever dares to open it. From the mighty abilities of the legendary superheroes to the deadly capabilities of the world's fiercest supervillains. That is not what anybody thought Marvel would give us as a result of the Ultimate Universe. Except who? Me. Because I fucking knew as soon as they showed this that it was going to be bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. In fact, the first thought I had when I saw Ultimate Reborn, Ultimate Impact was that Miles Morales book. A book that Marvel told us was going to be a big deal that ended up being bullshit. That's exactly what this is. What is this? This is a way to take the Ultimate readers and bring them into mainline by giving them a connective tissue, the origin boxes, the main selling point of the Armageddon book. This is the bridge. That's all it is.
When does this come out?
May 20th.
May, 5 issues, so June, July, September. September finale, possibly some new for October to have some ramifications. We would need to know about what happens in July. So there could be a San Diego Comic-Con announcement for what this leads to directly.
I think
if there is a bigger ramification.
I'm just confused how we get there.
I just don't see how the ramification doesn't get explored in Armageddon itself.
I think you could have your cake and eat it too here. And here's where I'm thinking. The origin boxes are the most MacGuffin fucking shit ever. We don't even know what power sets are in there. The only thing we know is that these power sets were so important to the maker, they were safely guarded away from everything. What if they are reality-altering power sets? Sure, you can give, let's make Maystorm main continuity. Sure, we could do that. We can maybe make Armor main continuity. I don't know who these two fucking dudes in the background are. One of them looks like he has almost like Ultimate She-Hulk's color scheme. The other guy looks like Armor's color scheme, so I don't know. But I wonder if there's a power set in here that can lead to a new reality being born. And them fully doing a relaunch next fall. But also have another power set that can make, I don't know, a Superman in the Marvel Universe. That's a big deal for Armageddon,
So you're saying the power sets in this box, contained in this box,
can be whatever the fuck they want them to be.
And so because of that, they'll combine the 616.
No.
Oh.
There's no combination. I'm saying they could just make another Pocket Universe to have a new line of number ones to come out in the fall.
Oh.
So they can market directly around New York Comic Con, but they can announce it at San Diego.
I definitely don't think that that's what this is. I don't think that the goal of this is to introduce a new universe. I think the goal is to bring people into the mainline fold. they specifically said in their own solicit material the way that this is going to impact mainline Marvel.
I don't believe solicits anymore. But yeah, I think this could also impact mainline Marvel, especially if it's specific power sets that are in those boxes they can play with. I don't like. Does this mean that I don't know? Ultimate Shield comes to mainline. Does it mean Maystorm comes to mainline, and they're your character bridges? Maybe.
I mean,
I
it's
feel like
not
that's
it's
boring.
but it's talking about powers, bro, not people.
I know, but those people could exist, and if they just get those boxes, because Miles did his tour, knows who these people are now, and gives the right boxes to the right people.
To like become ultified or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't know.
This just feels like this feels noisy. It's conflicting with Armageddon as well. Like the
Coming out
boxes,
simultaneously. Yeah.
yeah, like the boxes. Sure, that makes sense. The two events are going to be running concurrently, sort of dealing with the same thing, but one is meant to somehow affect the other or not.
This isn't an event. This is very ABC Marvel stuff. They love to sell you bullshit that leads to real shit. This is the bullshit leading to the real shit. This is not an event. This is something that's gonna like operate as a companion piece or a lead-in piece to Armageddon that is going to set the stage for the next couple of years of Marvel storytelling. These boxes are going to be used to get rid of certain power or people with powers and allow them to shuffle the deck and introduce us brand new characters with powers that we are already familiar with. This is how they get around stuff like, and I already know they sold this, but as an example, this is how they get around stuff like not wanting Danny Rand to be Iron Fist anymore.
Sure.
They want an Asian Iron Fist. So, with these ultimate boxes, you can just give the powers of the Iron Fist to a person of Asian descent who lives already in mainline Marvel. Boom, problem solved. That's all they have to do.
He finds this a similar monk kid and gives him the
They
box.
already did that without these boxes, but
That's what the boxes are for. That's what's going to happen.
do we
They're going to
get?
get into the wrong people's hands, some of them, but I'm sure many of them will be given out to people that Marvel want. They want to get new characters into the mix.
We already know Glenn Danzig gets one of them based on this cover. Dude in the background there, that's literally Glenn Danzig haircut from the Misfits. And oh, I think some of the chat got it, but like I don't know like who that is in the background behind him. Like I don't care about those characters. If you're gonna make new characters out of this, I don't think that does any of the objective of what people want. The business objective for me needs to be recapturing what the Ultimate Universe was doing good, and that's sales. And I think part of that is because they were jumping on points and number ones from a storytelling perspective that people were liking. And I don't see how this does either of that.
It doesn't. It says we've now dealt with the thing that we've had to do. The ramifications are only in the origin boxes. That is the only thing that will have a lasting effect.
Which means I feel like these origin boxes need to do what I just said needs to happen. I think this is a bridge to that, which is a new line of number ones. I don't know really what those look like. Do they exist within 616? I don't know.
But if they exist in 616, then that's not what you said.
I agree, because then it can't be a new number one, like a new storytelling ground zero number one type thing.
There's no way to have your cake and eat it too in a mainline space. I've never even seen anything remotely close to that working. We'll see. I feel like Marvel's been pretty transparent with what Armageddon is. It feels like, I mean, Super Job makes a joke, but I think it's sort of true. Imagine your superhero origin being you got your powers out of a Happy Meal. That's kind of what this is. This is the new mutant powers thing, where in the 2000s, Joe Quesada, I'm pretty sure it was Joe, put a ban on New Mutants because every character's origin was Oh, I'm a mutant. And that was the way that you would give people powers back then.
That's what the MCU's doing now.
Yo, imagine my Happy Meal and my fries are cold. Fuck.
Damn,
I'm a villain now.
Just put it in the bag.
I literally put it in the bag, bro. I'm trying to get a superpower.
Which is weird because the origin boxes seem to have distinct importance for 616 too. We have Armageddon. We have that variant that was in for Avengers 36. It's what do they call it here? The Foreshadow variant, which is a series of variants they're going to be doing. It's by Kamikoli that has Captain America Steve Rogers diving to get one of these origin boxes while like the corpses of all the other heroes are dead around him. So like those are gonna be the new cosmic cube of the Marvel universe. The new something. It's gonna be important. But how do you make it important for the 616 and also do what you need to do to recapture the lost audience of the Ultimate Universe? I don't know.
I don't even know if that's what Marvel's thinking, but I think they have to be thinking that because they can't not have a micro line at this point. It feels like a micro line is mandatory for a big publisher of comics, but we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
Like this. I am pretty over Marvel trying to sell me ancillary books. I just want the main thing. I want Armageddon. I don't need this. Could it be good? Yes. Chris Condon, Stefano Caselli, they are tremendously talented. There's no doubt in my mind about that. This just feels like, hey, you want that ultimate universe? Well, check out our mainline universe. It's going to have a bunch of new characters with powers that are really cool. And why are they really cool? Not because we created the powers brand new, but because we're giving you people with powers that you are already familiar with.
I will say, the end of the most recent issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, it looks like one of the big bads of this story might be the Spot. Does that do anything for you, Sean?
It does. It actually does the opposite of anything good.
Got it. Does not hit the spot for you.
Negative effect. It took damage.
Yeah, I did. Crazy. So yeah, that's Ultimate Impact. What impact will it have? We'll see.
Dang, dude. Reborn, Ultimate Impact.
Which, that is an anime-esque Fire Emblem-esque move.
That's what I thought was going on, dude.
It's such a Disney thing, too. Like, Disney does the same thing on their, like, Disney side of things. They use magic, they use fantasy, they use dreams, and they just recycle those terms and mix and match them. They're just doing the same thing in Marvel.
Goblin Graphics. Why use the Reborn word? It has ties to a weird time in Marvel.
Yep.
Because for the exact reason you think, brother.
Yep.
Because of nostalgia.
Yep.
You think that the Heroes Reborn moniker is from a weird time. Marvel thinks, I think, that represents a time that some amount of people have nostalgia for and don't remember necessarily how they felt about it in the moment. It's just a name. Jason Aaron just used it. There was an event.
Yeah.
They did that during his Avengers run.
Yep.
This is what Marvel will always do.
I actually like that Heroes Reborn stuff.
It probably was good. It was probably far better than the original Heroes Reborn. But the marketing aspect of it is just like Gavin said, this time but good.
But
It's
good.
a
Age of
Let's
Apocalypse.
get the stank off that
Revelation.
adjective.
There's probably no story that has ever been told in comics that they wouldn't do that with.
They did it with Sins Past.
Yeah, they did it with Sins Past. They've done it with the Clone Saga multiple times. They don't give a fuck.
If I expect the only one they haven't done yet is Trouble. If they do Trouble, or they bring Marvel back, then they've fully done it.
And those are they just happen to be lesser known things.
Yeah.
But these are known quantities that Marvel will go back to. I guarantee you this isn't the last time they'll use it.
Yeah.
Let's spin the wheel. I think we owe two more.
Okay.
C.W. Gordon.
Drink up, guys. Drink up.
Oh, yes.
There it is. Secret Age of Heroes Reborn, Ultimate Impact of Incursion Wars.
I'd read it.
Oh,
I'd read it.
I pulled it already, dude. It's on the list.
Tilo says Malibu Comics. I mean, they brought fucking CrossGen back.
Go ahead.
Sean, does Marco have a minute?
Wow. All right, Marco. Your time to shine, brother. Let's get a whole minute of Marco talking about how he managed to handle the weather this week,
Oh.
starting when you start yapping.
All right, I stayed home. I
Alright, okay.
I worked from home. I would only walk, step outside to walk the dog, to free up the car a little bit of ice. Went grocery shopping. I always wear long johns.
Gotta keep them danglers in.
You gotta stay warm, bro. I double layer with a shirt, a thermal, and then a sweater plus my thick jacket. I've been using my what do you call it? My hiking boots. So
Okay, me too.
they're yeah, that's what I've been using for that kind of stuff. And honestly, been meal prepping. That's what we're gonna be doing partly today, tomorrow for sure. Just prepare for the week because it's still gonna be brick.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marco.
It's chilly.
It is. It is. Real quick, real quick. Who's winning the Royal Rumble? Who's winning the Rumble tonight for those of you who are wrestling fans?
It's in Saudi Arabia, so it's gonna be the one that the prince wants. So I'm gonna say Yokozuna.
Imagine.
It's gonna be Macho Man.
Just get some random dude to play Yokozuna.
That's
I mean,
what
they
did that for the
essentially
greatest.
did that. Yeah.
They did that for the greatest Royals Rumble. They just put a
Yeah.
sumo guy in there because they thought Yokozuna was still alive.
Yep. My picks are Braun Breaker or Roman Reigns. I believe one of those two people will win tonight on the men's side. On the women's side, I've got Liv Morgan or Bianca Belair. Bianca will win if she's
Ooh.
in it, but otherwise I got
Yeah.
Liv.
Okay. Has Rhea ever won?
I don't think so. Or she might have. I don't remember.
Okay. I think Obafemi is going to be the workhorse of the Rumble though. The most eliminations. I wouldn't be surprised if he beats like Kane's record or whatever.
I had a whole bunch of questions that I asked my friends because we're doing a predictions for the Rumble. I
Yeah.
wish I had time to do them with you now, but I think Braun is going to have a run tonight for sure.
Did you see the snafu they had on SmackDown yesterday?
Yes.
You think he
Yes.
does? You think it's possible for him to do like a Shawn Michaels situation?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, that would entail Triple H actually making a star, but according to Roman Reigns, he doesn't do that.
I think Braun is a guaranteed future
Yeah.
WrestleMania main eventer.
Yeah.
So, where's Orange Cassidy in all this?
Whole different
Wrong company, brother.
Oops. Okay.
Wrong question. Wrong company. Is AJ retiring?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He just got a whole bunch of copyrights for his own stuff. So expect to see him challenge Ricochet for a belt within the year.
Pete Collins is hoping for a miracle. He says he's hoping that Finn Balor takes someone out and enters to win. That ain't happening. He even takes somebody out. I can see that. He ain't winning shit. Pin Balor is going to win the Royal Rumble.
Oh, don't call him that.
Pin Balor. Oh, man. If you're going to be watching the Rumble, watch it with us. Watch it on Discord. Come hang out with us. I'll be in the chat yapping. I'm not literally talking, but my fingers will be doing the yapping. Joining the Discord server. By the way, I meant to mention this earlier. We're like 2 people away from 500 people being on our Discord.
Oh,
No,
really?
we're one person. Yeah. Patrick Zay called it out. I think we're at
Oh, wow.
500. I mean, 499.
That's insane. One person joined our Discord server so we could really have 500. I never thought we would have 500 people on our Discord server.
I don't track those numbers, so like that's news to me.
It's crazy. I love it.
Link in the chat. Join. Got to see people come
we
in.
have 501.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh, we already did it.
Yep.
Hooray.
Let's go.
Congrats. It's beautiful. Yesterday at a random hour, I don't remember what time it was, we were just sitting on the Discord talking. Like in a voice channel.
I saw
beautiful. I love it. Love it.
During my meetings, because it started at like 2 or something, so
I was
join, but
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what time. All right, let me read off the rest of the names, and then we'll play the GOAT game. Then we'll free everyone. Thank you, Amin, the Almighty Perez, Houston, Century Kid Murphy, Young Dende, Faye Fighter Dewooty, Cosmic November, Carter the Owl Shogunate, Steve Swarm Canaris, Scripture, the Wardens of the Word, Jack of Some Trades Cloutier, Chris the Cure Coleman, Emperor MD Johnny, Shalom Paladin Warburg, Mad Max Pliskin, Wagnus. Your origin is next on the docket, brother. Couldn't get to it today because we have a time constraint, but I'm excited about it. Jack Grimmy, Patrick Zay, and can't forget Big Busta, Chris Anton, who was in chat with us, Chris Chats Comics. Subscribe to his channel. Mothman, who's a newcomer. Thank you, Mothman. And of course, I want to shout out Jamzilla and Cosm once again for joining us on that side of things. Y'all are amazing. Let's play the GOAT game.
Cool. Who's it gonna be yapping? Let's see.
Into Gray, brother, you don't need to be nervous. Everybody in our community is really amazing. Like I haven't had to deal with any BS as it relates to like our community hanging out and chatting. It's been beautiful.
All right, I get to sit this one out again. It's Marco and Sean.
What is going on?
Let's
Fine
go.
with me. What character is it going to be though? That's the question. It's a possibility. Possibility.
Sandman.
Oof. All right.
Uh-oh.
It's Crystal of the Inhumans.
Ah, fuck.
Okay. All right. I'll go first.
No. I have an idea for
Oh,
powers.
all right. Okay.
Oh, you have an idea for powers. I cannot wait.
Crystal, yep.
All right. When you start.
Ready? All right. Crystal of the Inhumans, one of the premier royals there, actually, if you didn't know, and has her gravity powers. Crystal is somebody that fights off the edge. I know you're grimacing, Tyler, but you're incorrect. She fights.
Let's just look at the screen for this.
She fights to the from a distance, long range, is able to really tactically organize the other Inhumans to be able to either attack or defend, and really protect the king as needed. So the GOAT based solely on her stature and power.
All righty then.
You said, what'd you say the power set was, Marco?
Gravity.
Got it. Long distance gravity.
Long distance gravity, right? She
Got it.
plays in the background.
Even the choice
image.
of yeah. What do you see in the image?
Hello, red is heavier gravity, blue is lighter gravity.
Ooh,
I don't understand
boy.
what the
Oof.
problem is here.
Oof.
Wow. All right. Here we go. I will go now. Okay. Crystal of the Inhumans is the greatest of all time because her power set is incredible. Elemental powers are always cool, always play visually. She has one of the coolest power sets in comics. Cooler than her sometimes boyfriend, Human Torch. All he can do is light himself on fire. Crystal can do so much more than that. She gets to ride shotgun and be a part of the Royal Empire, one of Black Bolt's most trusted allies. She holds it down. The Inhumans all have really cool powers, but there aren't a lot of Inhumans to me that stand out as one of the characters that can compete on a level alongside the rest of Marvel's heroes. All right, chat, who did better? Who sold you better on Crystal being the greatest of all time, Marco or myself?
Or neither.
Or neither.
Let me see those neithers come up, because honestly, Sean, I thought that wasn't great. I feel like you got to do a little bit more reading. I appreciate the connection to Fantastic Four.
Yep.
I did miss that on my part, but
Who did she
I
date,
think there's
Marco?
a lot more. Johnny Storm.
Okay, all right. He went
I
through all
was
four
listening.
members in his head just there.
I was
He did
listening.
the math. All two of them were together.
Hold on, I was like, hold on, yeah. Got to be one or the other.
Aaron said, I don't know about you guys, but I thought Marco dominated again. The only person to emphasize gravity.
Yeah. Known Inhuman power set, gravity for Crystal. Marco, have you like legit out of kayfabe here? Did you know this character existed?
No. I know I know that Johnny dates aliens, so that connection was like, oh, okay. I feel like I could have made that connection somehow.
You could have thrown a rock and stumbled on that one. Good guess.
Much like Crystal does with her gravity powers.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. And
Definitely
Atomic
not
Hound,
fire and ice.
someone who knows something far more about comics than I or Marco, says Crystal first appeared with the rest of the Inhumans in Fantastic Four number 45, arguably right in the middle of the greatest year in the history of any comic, Fantastic Four 40 through 50. But let's throw in Fantastic Four 51 and 52.
Wow.
It's like the when you have like a presidential debate and they have the fact checkers.
Word.
Last Young Renegade says, I want to hear Marco discuss Quake next with her power over the ocean.
Yes. Well known ocean control powers. Who convinced you that Crystal is the GOAT? 62% of you voted Sean. 24% of you voted neither. 14% of you voted for Marco. Thank you.
Man,
I'll
Marco
take
couldn't
this
even
victory.
Marco couldn't even come in second in a 2-man race.
Yo, how were you playing a 2-player game and you came in third?
You got to get caught up
That's
on your
great.
Inhuman reading, Marco. Jeez.
Well, Marvel is such a gap.
Who voted for Marco when he got the powers wrong? Like, that's the most basic. Like, what?
It's the confidence.
We
of how
got
to say
it.
it.
We also have a DC fan base, Sean. Marco was at least spoke confidently enough to trick people.
Neither is valid. I understand that vote. Fine. You thought I sucked. Okay. But this dude didn't know her powers. Come on. Is these issues 14% of the audience really taking the piss?
Yeah, that's also probably true.
Jeffrey Buck, Marco's blind trust in her being the code is enough for me to believe it.
Comically Optimistic says, love the show, boys. Hope you have a great weekend. Do we know what the next sponsored book club is? I want to know what to catch up on. Okay, real quick before we get out of here. Yes, we do. It is J. Michael Straczynski's Amazing Spider-Man alongside John Romita Jr. and others. That is going to take place on February 10th. February 10th is that book club. February 3rd, which is this coming Tuesday, we will be live with Philippe Sablik, yes, of Ignition Press. He is the president of Ignition Press. He's going to come on, talk to us about that publisher. I'm really excited for that conversation.
Yeah.
He's a really smart guy. We're going to pick his brain about a lot of different things. So that should be a lot of fun. That's our Tuesday. Thursday, of course, we will be live with you for Pals Pulls, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, before you know it, we are right back here. We're going to have a kick-ass February. February is going to be amazing. We have 2 stellar guests lined up. Well, what am I saying? 3 stellar guests lined up. A major episode smack dab in the middle of February that we'll talk more about next week. Lots of fun stuff coming your way here on the show. What are we doing next Saturday? Is that confirmed?
Next Saturday?
Marco?
The 7th?
Is it the 7th?
No. Hold on. Let me look back. I think it was the 14th. The 21st. The 21st. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Is the other thing during a weekday?
No. I sent the calendar.
Don't know the one that we got confirmed. The one that Sean set up.
That's the last Saturday of the month, I think. It's the 21st.
The 21st. That's the 21st. Yeah, 21st, and then the 7th we have.
That is happening on the 7th?
Yeah.
So we got to say it. Shit, because that's next Saturday.
Yeah, so that's...
Jeff Lemire is next Saturday. We have confirmed it, at least until otherwise, but we have to tell you that it's happening. Hopefully it does happen. Jeff Lemire, one of the men behind the new Fury of the Firestorm book, behind the Moon Knight book that we all raved about. Tremendous creator, right here next Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We will see you then.